I've been looking at the insurance policy for this showboat. It's due in the Thames tomorrow night. Premium is high, but I see the sum insured is £50,000. No, frankly, Bertie, I'm a little worried.
Worried, Sir William?
Yes. Looking at the specifications, I see that she was first constructed on the Mississippi in 1889. All timber construction, and she's powered by a coal-fed burner. Hence the fire hazard must be high.
No doubt that's why the premium is so high.
The actuary probably knows his business, but I'd like a special fire guard on board while she's here.
Shall I get in touch with the London Fire Brigade?
No. No, we must engage someone privately. Ring up this number, Grosvenor 5995, and make an appointment for me to see a man called Aubrey Mason. Their offices are at 33 Half Moon Street.
Seamus and the Showboat.
Enjoy the best of both worlds. Only 2 hours drive from Johannesburg and Pretoria and half an hour by air. The magnificent Sundown Ranch Hotel and Lion Park, just 10 kilometers from the Pilanesberg Game Reserve and Sun City Resort. It offers an exciting escape from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Reasonable rates, excellent food, friendly service and comfortable air-conditioned rooms. It will ensure a memorable stay. Activities include tennis, squash, horse riding, the Lion Park and much, much more. Call now to make your reservation on 014-573-1000. That's 014-573-1000, or visit their website at www.restinations.co.za/Sundown Ranch. The Sundown Ranch Hotel and Lion Park. 2 worlds in one.
Looking for space to hang and dry your washing? Washline distributors have the solution. Their rotating and fold-down wash lines take up the smallest spaces. Ideal for townhouses, simplexes and balconies at affordable prices. Galvanized or powder-coated and available in 5 different colors. For 24-hour delivery, installation, reliable and friendly service, phone Washline distributors on 011 792 2486. That's 011 792 2486. Wash lines for every space and need.
Sir William Hedges was well known to me. He is in fact a member of my club. Knowing that he was concerned with a big insurance company in the city, and much of our work is connected with this type of company, I wasn't surprised when he arrived at 33 Half Moon Street requesting the services of an operator. His story, however, was interesting in the extreme.
Well, it's the first time I've seen you in your office, Mason. Quite an interesting setup you have here. Tell me, do you make good your boats to do anything, anywhere, at any time?
We most certainly do, Sir William.
Oh, well, you have confidence, if nothing else.
Well, what is it you want us to do?
A man in the United States has hit upon rather a good idea. At least I think it's a good idea. He's bought an old Mississippi showboat and had it towed across the Atlantic. His intention is to sail this old craft up the Thames, putting on modern entertainment in an old-fashioned setting.
Well, it is a good idea.
Yeah. Well, naturally, the showboat is heavily insured, mainly against fire. As you know, these old boats are built of timber, and the boilers are steamed with coal bunkers. I wouldn't normally be worried, but I think the man will probably make a fortune. But I have investigated the owner, and I've discovered that he is a small-time racketeer and gambler.
Oh, well, that does put a different complexion on things.
Oh, I may be wrong, of course, but I want a man on permanent fire duty just to keep an eye on things.
Will there be any objection from this American? What's his name, by the way?
Seamus Camber. No, there will be no objection. In fact, it's written into the articles of insurance that we can have a man permanently on board in a supervisory capacity.
Oh, then it's quite straightforward. One of my senior operators is an American, so he should get on well with his owner.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Yes.
When and where do you want him to report?
This time tomorrow at Gravesend Dock. We'll have no trouble in finding the showboat. I expect it'll create quite a stir sailing up the River Thames.
He'll be there, Sir William. His name's Cannon, by the way. You need have no fears about his ability. He's what the Americans refer to as a very tough baby.
Cannon, yes.
Well, if there is anything phony about Mr. Seamus Camber, you may rest assured that Cannon will sort things out for you.
Hello there. Anybody on board? I guess with you, Buster. What are you doing on board my ship? Well, I didn't come for a conference with Mark Twain. Very, very funny. Are you one of the comedians on next week's show? My name's Cannon. I represent the North London Insurance Company. If you find anything funny about that, have a good laugh. And what does the insurance company want with me? I have a sizable interest in this old river boat. I am here to protect that interest. You, I take it, are Mr. Seamus Camber. That's right. What are you going to do on board? Well, mosey around after people and see they stub out their cigarettes on the taffrail. In short, Mr. Camber, I'm here to protect your showboat against the ravages of fire. I've got my own fire protection. I don't need any more help. Oh, don't worry, friend. I'm for free. All expenses paid by Sir William Hedges. It's written in the insurance clause that the company can provide an extra guard. I'm it. Okay, but don't get in my hair. I got a show to put on here the night after next. I don't want any of my customers upset by an insurance watchdog. That's all right. I promise to close a blind eye to the poker games and the Schmander fire. What gives you the idea I'm going to run a gambling joint on board this tub? Well, you're not going to run dollars in for the ship's log, that's for sure. Where's the crew anyway, or do you stoke up those fires yourself? The crew comes aboard tomorrow, Smarty. Meantime, you and I can rest nice and cozy on board. So you can take it easy, Mr. Cannon. If anybody sets fire to this showboat, it can only be you or me.
As I said before, Sir William Hedges is well known to me. Since I had already dispatched Cannon as fireguard on the showboat, I was naturally a little surprised at the request from a gentleman who arrived the following morning in my office. He was announced by Miss Fairweather.
Mr. Duke Delaney to see you, sir.
What's it in connection with, Miss Fairweather?
Something about a guard on board a showboat.
Is he from the North London Insurance Company?
I don't think so, sir. By his accent, he's an American.
Delaney?
Duke Delaney, sir.
Are you sure it's not a Mr. Camber?
Quite sure, sir.
All right, show him in. Mr. Delaney?
That's right, sir.
Oh, do come in.
Oh, thank you.
Have a chair.
Thank you.
I understand from the switchboard girl that you're connected with Mr. Seamus Camber's showboat.
In a way, yes. I have certain fixtures and fittings on board which are on loan to Seamus Camber. Since they are on loan, I wanted the services of a man to keep an eye on things.
Are you concerned with theft or fire, Mr. Delaney?
Oh, fire mostly. I'm given to understand that the old Mississippi showboats are anything but stable. In fact, I was reading a report the other day where in 1913, 2 showboats engaged in a race up the river blew up.
Well, surely it's not Camber's intention to race up the River Thames. I mean, what would he race against? This is the only showboat in England.
I'd like to be quite frank with you, Mr. Mason. Seamus Camber doesn't enjoy the greatest reputation for honesty in the States.
Then I'll be equally frank with you. The vessel is insured by the North London Insurance Company, and they have already engaged the services of one of my operators, who is at this moment on board the showboat keeping a watch against fire.
Is he reliable?
Thoroughly.
Oh, then there's little point in my engaging anyone, is there?
Well, perhaps if you gave me a list of the furniture and effects that you have on board the ship, I could have my man keep a special eye on them.
I'm really interested in the prints in the smoker room. Have you ever been on board a showboat, Mr. Mason?
No, I haven't.
Oh. Well, it's traditional that the smoker room is decorated with the prints of paintings by the great masters. In the halcyon days of the gold rush, they had real paintings on the walls. Well, in later days, they were substituted for prints. Now, the ones on board the River Queen have little commercial value, but, well, they hold great sentimental attachment for me. If anything should happen to the boat, I'd be most grateful if your man could rescue those prints and Bring them to the office here.
You know, Mr. Delaney, I never met Seamus Camber. He must be quite an interesting gentleman. Yet I feel that, well, although he's generally at loggerheads with the law, it doesn't strike me as a practical proposition to tow an old showboat 3,000 miles across the Atlantic, well, just to set fire to it for the insurance.
Camber's mind works in devious ways. I hope that his intentions for once are of the best, however. Now, if your man can keep an eye on the prince for me, I'll be most grateful. And, of course, happy to pay any reasonable fee.
Very well, Mr. Delaney. I'll see that Cannon is instructed in that regard.
Thank you. That's put my mind at rest.
I'm glad to hear it. But it's more than I can say for Cannon and Seamus Camber.
Who's there? Well, that's clear. Camber said he and I were the only two people on board. Where did that come from? Uh-huh. That was in this cupboard.
Oh!
Now, what are you doing in here?
Are you Mr. Campbell?
No, I'm not. I'm the ship's guard. I repeat, what are you doing in here?
I didn't want to be seen, and when I heard someone coming, I thought I'd hide in the cupboard.
What are you hiding from? And who are you, anyway?
I'm Constance Maston.
American.
From Connecticut.
Okay, give.
I came on board to have a look round. I'm in show business, and I heard that Seamus Camber was engaging acts for the showboat.
Well, Seamus Camber's topside right now. Come with me. I'll take you to him.
Oh, not right now.
Well, there's no time like the present.
I'd rather not go right away. I heard tell that Camber has an unsavory reputation.
You know something? I'm beginning to stack my chips on this guy's table. Nobody has a good word to say for him, and yet his business seems legitimate enough. If you're from Connecticut, you must have a work permit to perform on this showboat. Maybe you'd like to show it to me, huh?
I haven't got it with me.
Passport?
Why all the questions?
Look, baby, it's all the same to me whether you answer my questions here or in the local cop shop.
Can't you give me just an hour?
You know, I have an idea that you stowed away on this tub and got yourself a free tow across the Atlantic. That being the case, I want you investigated by the cops. And nothing personal, just part of my duties as the guard around here.
Hey, Cannon! Come on up here!
Okay, Mr. Camber.
Hey, you come back here. What's going on down here?
I'm locked in. I'm here in the smoker room.
Oh, how did you lock yourself in here?
A broad locked me in.
Abroad. What broad? You gone out of your mind? We are the only two people on board this tub.
Look, Mr. Camber, that door was locked from the outside. Check?
Check.
Then how do you figure I locked myself in from the outside?
Yeah, that makes sense. The door was locked from the outside.
Well, she was in here, hiding in a cupboard.
Here, on the showboat?
That's what I said.
You must be crazy.
Look, crazy or not, there was a doll right here in this cupboard. Come over here, come here. Now take a deep breath.
Yeah, perfume.
That's right, and I don't use that particular brand of
Well, what's the girl doing here?
I don't know, Mr. Camber. But I've got a funny feeling that there's an awful lot of people who'd like to see your enterprise go up in smoke, and that's no maybe.
The following classic Springbok radio commercial comes to you with the courtesy of the Springbok Radio Preservation Society of South Africa.
New Pepsodent has Earlium, an amazing discovery that actually polishes teeth so sparkling clean and white, dulling film can't find a hole. Feel the difference with your tongue.
You wonder where the dullness went when you polish your teeth with Pepsodent.
New Pepsodent, the white toothpaste you can feel working.
Pepsodent, Pepsodent, Pepsodent.
Some things in life are obvious and easy. If you have a business providing a good service or selling a product, you need to let people know. But how do you do that? Easy. Just tell them here on SpringbokRadio.com. Internet radio is about talking to people in their own homes. Your message becomes part of the sound they've chosen to listen to. To find out more about advertising on SpringbokRadio.com, contact Dave Dupree on Johannesburg 011 678 5176. Or for outside South Africa, 2711 678 5176. Or email Dave at SpringbokRadio.com.
Everyone, it seemed, was apprehensive over the intentions of Mr. Seamus Camber, one-time gambler and racketeer from the Bronx. However, to all outward appearances, Mr. Camber was conducting his affairs in an honest and straightforward manner, and I could find no real cause for alarm. 2 days later, prompted with pertinent advertising, the showboat got on its way up the River Thames, loaded with sightseers and the party spirit. The vessel was now fully crewed. Steam was up in the boilers, and a good orchestra pounded out lively music to an enthusiastic audience in the smoke-room. Having inspected the ship's furnaces and found everything in order, Cannon was relaxing at a table in the corner. Hello, Cannon. Everything in order?
Apple pie order, Chief.
How about the boilers?
Well, Camber has a crew of Lascar firemen who seem to know their job, and he's running on half steam.
So Sir William's fears were groundless.
Looks like it.
Have you seen Duke Delaney?
The man who owns the prince? No. Why is he so worried about a few prints anyway?
Well, there's no accounting for taste. Anyway, you have your orders. If anything should happen on board, you must first ascertain the cause of the trouble, then rescue his prince and get them ashore into our office.
Okay, got it.
Why, Mr. Mason, I didn't expect to see you here.
Hello, Mr. Delaney. Well, looks as though your fears were groundless.
I hope you're right.
I don't think you've met my senior operator, have you? Cannon, meet Mr. Duke Delaney.
How do you do?
Nice to know you, Mr. Cannon. How are the boilers?
Oh, just great.
You know, maybe Camber's got something after all. It is just like the old days on the Mississippi River. Oh, not that I remember them. No, too long ago for me, but... Well, I figure that this gimmick will go down big with the Londoners on the Thames.
Hi there, gentlemen. Having a good time?
Just great.
Shouldn't you be fire watching?
Well, there's not much to worry about on board this ship, Mr. Camber.
These friends of yours?
This is my chief, Aubrey Mason, and Duke Delaney you already know.
See you later, fellas. I just spotted a particular friend of mine.
Who'd you say that last one was?
Hey, that girl up there, Sam.
Oh, you like her? I engaged her yesterday.
What name did she get?
Connie Maston. Why?
Well, that's the doll who locked me in this smoker room the day before yesterday.
Oh, you don't say.
What's all this about, Cannon?
Well, Mr. Camber here and myself were the only two people on board the River Queen the day before yesterday, and I came down into the smoker room here, and, well, I found that girl hiding in a cupboard.
Well, did she give you any explanation?
She said she was in show business and was looking for a job on the showboat.
That's right, and like you see, she got the job.
Look, Mr. Camber, I know it's maybe none of my business, but, have you ever met that broad before?
Never saw her before in my life. What are you worried about? So she came aboard for a job, and she got the job.
There's something funny about this setup, and I wish I knew what it was.
Look, buddy, somebody told you I got a record back in the States? Yeah, I thought so. Well, for once, my business enterprise is on the level. Real level. Don't you forget it. Well, that's my cue. Stick to your job, Cannon, and I'll stick to mine.
Okay. Well. You seem to have upset the gentleman.
But there is something funny about this setup, Chief.
Well, when Mr. Camber's around you should keep your ideas to yourself.
Chief, who hired the furniture and effects to Seamus Camber?
Duke Delaney. Well, that's why I wanted you to... Of course. When you introduced me, you also introduced Delaney, and Camber didn't know him.
So now you think there's something phony?
Well, it is rather odd, isn't it?
Camber doesn't know the man from whom he hired the prince on the war, but he does know the girl who was stowed away on his ship and is now working in his cabaret. I'm going down to take another look at those boilers. I think that maybe if we're not careful, we'll have a problem on our hands that's too hot to handle.
Cannon inspected every inch of the showboat, but could find nothing wrong anywhere. He began to think his fears were groundless, and that the Camber enterprise, well, was in good faith after all. His misgivings would have returned with alacrity had he been able to overhear a conversation between Camber and Delaney just before midnight, when the cabaret was ended and the gambling began. The mysterious Constance Maston was sitting with them at a table in the now empty smoke-room. Camber was flushed with the evening's entertainment.
Well, I don't mind telling you, Mr. Delaney, this is the first legit enterprise that I ever attempted. I don't want you to think I'm boasting when I say it's been successful beyond my wildest hopes.
Well, it's not the first time a gambler's gone straight.
Oh, gambling's legal in this country.
You mean you still have a brother?
Oh, not on board the River Queen. This is strictly for entertainment.
I must compliment you on the entertainment.
Oh, Connie. Best find I ever made.
Why, thank you, kind sir, she said.
That watchdog for the insurance company, Cannon, had some crazy notion that he had met you 2 days ago.
He's crazy.
Yeah, seems like everybody's slightly crazy on board this tub. Tell me, if gambling's not in your line, how come the poker game up on the bridge?
Oh, just for my personal friends. You interested?
Yeah, I like a game now and again. Anything in mind?
Anything you name? Pinochle?
I wasn't thinking of small stakes. I had something bigger in mind.
Such as?
Like I was wondering if you could get 20 nuts out of this old tub.
Oh, just a matter of steam, yeah.
Gentlemen, suppose you let off steam in the bar. It might be safer.
Yeah, I guess it would at that. You'd lose your money anyway, Seamus.
What money?
Success has gone to your head. I'll wager $5,000 that this old tub can't do 20 nuts.
Have nothing to do with it, Mr. Campbell.
Hang on there. Did you say $5,000?
I did, and what's more, I got it right here in hard cash.
Cover it.
Please, Mr. Campbell. Remember when the River Queen was built?
Now, what do you think, my ship is a dowager? You're on.
Oh, no.
Why are you so worried, Miss Maston?
Oh, forget about her. This is my ship. $5,000. Is it for 20 knots, huh?
My money's on the table.
Okay. Let's get down to the engine room.
Come on, you monkeys. Get the coal on the furnace.
What's the reading, Connie?
15 knots. You won't go any faster.
Come on, steam. Give me more steam.
Hey, what's going on down here? Smoke's coming out of the stack like the whole ship was on
Oh,
fire.
Mr. Campbell, thank heaven you've arrived. Mr. Campbell has a crazy bet with Duke Delaney that his showboat will reach 20 knots.
20 knots? Have you gone out of your mind?
Hey, you keep your nose out of this.
Get that coal on the furnace. There's a $50 bonus for each and every one of them to make 20 knots on the game, all right?
Look, Mr. Campbell, listen to me. Those boilers are old. They can't take that measure of speed.
Delaney laid the bet, and I'm gonna win it. Once a gambler, always a gambler.
But what about the insurance if anything goes wrong?
There's nothing in the article that says I can't sail my ship at any speed I like.
But if something goes wrong, your business goes with it.
I can always pick up another showboat.
Don't kid yourself. If this old tub founders, you'll never get another holidaymaker within 10 miles of a showboat.
He's right, Mr. Campbell.
I stand to lose $5,000.
You'll lose your boots if you carry on. Where is Delaney, anyway?
He's in the wheelhouse.
Tell me something, Mr. Camber. Have you ever met Duke Delaney before tonight?
Oh, I never did, but he challenged me, and nobody's going to say that Seamus Camber chicken on a bet.
Hey! Oh! Look, you'll never live to collect that wager if you don't chicken out of here right now. Come on, baby, leave this crazy guy. Come on. Get there into a folks.
Where are you going?
Smoke room. Got some unfinished business to attend to.
Why, it's right over the boiler house.
I'll be quick like a bunny.
So you got here at last.
Delaney. What sort of crazy bet was that to lay with Camber? You knew he wouldn't refuse.
If he doesn't make 20 knots, I get $5,000.
Look, if you know what's good for you, you get out of here fast.
What about my prince?
We're still afloat, aren't we?
Don't forget I paid you to look after them if anything happens to his showboat.
I'm taking them right now.
All right, see you in your office later.
Cannon! Cannon, hurry!
Where's Camber? Camber, where is he?
Here I am. Right here.
Well, what did Alaska say?
You're right, Cannon. Those boilers are buckling at the seams. The crew's already in a longboat.
Okay, join them. You too, baby.
What are you going to do?
Look for Delaney.
He's already left in the dinghy.
Well, that wraps it up. Come on, roll away!
What's the time, Miss Maston?
4:15.
What's keeping him?
He'll be here. I only hope he doesn't get tough.
Well, that's where you and me differ, Miss Maston. Nothing will give me greater pleasure than to personally teach Duke Delaney a lesson.
Ah, that's probably him now. Miss Maston, go into the inside office with Cannon. You know what to do when he claims the prince.
I know. Come on, Cannon.
Come in.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Mason.
Oh, come in, come in.
Oh, nice of you to wait up for me.
Service is our motto.
Did Cannon get the prince over to you?
Yes, he did.
Not damaged, I hope.
No, not damaged. There they are on the table over there.
Ah.
If you just look at them and, see that they're in order.
Sure. Yeah, just as well I heard your man. I had a feeling that guy, Seamus Campbell, would sink that showboat.
Are they your prince, Mr. Delaney?
Yep, they're mine. As you say, in perfect order.
Good morning, Mr. Delaney.
Well, if it isn't Connie Maston. And Cannon. Well, nice to see you again.
Not for long, Duke Delaney. I have a warrant here for your arrest.
You got a what?
I have to warn you to come quietly.
Quietly?
You heard the lady.
Has this torch singer gone out of her mind?
Not a torch singer, Duke Delaney. Special Officer Constance Marston of Interpol.
Seamus Camber, whom everybody suspected of double-dealing, was in fact a reformed criminal, whose intentions with his showboat were of the best. It was Duke Delaney who was the nefarious operator in the woodpile. Delaney had substituted 2 of the smoke-room prints with genuine oils stolen from a wealthy American collector. He knew that he could never get them through customs, but they could be removed in an emergency from a sinking ship. He played on Seamus Camber's love of gambling, knowing that the old boilers on the showboat would never stand up to such a head of steam. Cannon, therefore, inadvertently brought the paintings ashore for him, but he reckoned without Constance Maston, who was on his track from the very beginning. She, too, suspected Camber at first, but Delaney overplayed his hand and walked right into the trap we prepared for him.
What in heaven's name was that?
What was what, Mr. Cornish?
That scream. It came from the loft.
The loft, Mr. Cornish? Now, who would be in the loft while the bells were ringing?
I heard a scream, I tell you. Someone's up there.
You're just feeling a little overwrought, Mr. Cornish. Now pull on your tenor bell like a good fella. Then you'll hear a sweet, melodious sound. Go on, pull.
Nothing happens.
Oh, dear, then the stay must have broken. Perhaps that's the sound you heard. It makes a funny noise when a stay breaks.
I could have sworn it was a scream.
But it wasn't. It couldn't have been. Just your imagination. I'll get someone out to mend the stay in the bell loft.
No. I mean, we can't have a stranger here. Not a man from the village.
It won't be no one from the village, Mr. Cornish. There's a firm in London does all sorts of odd jobs, and no questions asked, so I'm told.
No questions?
Let me do the worrying, Mr. Cornish. These people are most reliable. I'll give 'em a ring from the Manor House. It won't take 'em long to get here. Their offices are at 33 Half Moon Street.
From a country house to the north of London set the wheels in motion. The name of the caller suggested him to be an ecclesiastic, but his intonation belied this calling, and, well, it left me wondering. I couldn't imagine the voice emanating from a pulpit, and yet the man's problem seemed normal for assignments unlimited.
The name's Purley, Mr. Mason, Parson Purley. I'm well known in Potter's Bar, and I have a problem with the tenor bell stay in the loft. I don't know if you're acquainted with bell ringing.
Not technically, I'm afraid. What exactly is wrong?
The stay on the tenor bell is broken. It's really quite easy to replace, but the climb up to it's rather dangerous. I can't get a man from the village, unfortunately. The old hands are too old, and the young ones... Well, I don't have to tell you what the modern-day youth is like, do I?
Well, I can't say that I see anything wrong with them. However, if you can't find a local man, you can't, and we'll be pleased to send someone. How do we find you?
The job will require 2 men, actually, Mr. Mason. I can explain how they go about replacing the stay in a few minutes, but it will definitely require 2 pairs of hands. hands.
And you can't help yourself?
My arthritis precludes me from any physical labour, I'm sad to say.
All right, then. To it is. Where are you ringing from?
Well, actually, I'm telephoning from the Squire's house. Cornish Manor House, it's known as. One of the showpieces in this part of the world. I'm very friendly with the Squire.
So my men are to report to the Cornish Manor House?
No, Mr. Mason. If they could report to the village inn, the Gun and Magpie, it's called, I'll meet them there.
The Gun and Magpie. I see. Tell me something. These are church bells you're talking about?
What else, Mr. Mason? What else?
Yes. Yes, of course. When do you want them down there?
This afternoon, if you can manage it. I'll book them into the village inn so they can stay over if they're not finished by this evening. You see, there is some urgency, Mr. Mason. We have a campanology lecture tomorrow evening, and I'd like the tenor bell back working by then.
Oh, I understand. Very well. I'll have them report to the Gun and Magpie after lunch.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mason. Goodbye to you.
Goodbye. Odd-sounding fellow.
Who was that, Chief?
A man with a bug in his belfry.
Don't you mean a bee in his bonnet?
I mean exactly what I say, Canon. Parson Purley. What an odd name. Canon?
Oh, yes, Chief?
Do you know anything about ringing church bells?
No, but I'm good at fixing alarm clocks.
Oh, ask a silly question. There's a man down there. Well, I suppose he's a reverend, really, although he doesn't sound like one. There's a man down in Potter's Bar. A stay has broken on one of his church bells, and he wants 2 men to go down and fix it.
Well, I thought the verger always got the lousy jobs.
Well, apparently it's dangerous.
Oh, I see.
He said he can explain how you go about it in a few minutes. I imagine it's the climbing up into the bell tower that's dangerous. Feel like taking it on?
Sure. Who goes with me?
Well, that's quite a point, isn't it? Everyone's out, and I've got an appointment with Sir Edwin Croft this afternoon over that security guard job for the bullion shipment.
What about tomorrow?
But there's some urgency.
There always is.
Hi, Chief. Hi, Cam.
Hi, Gail.
Hello, Gail. Did everything go off all right?
Perfectly.
Gail, would you take on a job that entailed climbing up into a belfry?
What do I rescue this time? A bat?
Well, you'd be Cannon's assistant in making a running repair to a bell stay.
Oh, easy. When do we leave?
Right now. It's in Potter's Bar. You could have lunch on the way.
Oh, boy, an expense account. Oh, but let's wait until we get to Potter's Bar. There's an offbeat pub there that sells cider and whelks.
The Gun and Magpie.
Chief, how would you know a place like that?
Well, that's where you meet the client, Parson Purley.
In the pub? How quaint.
That occurred to me. By the sound of his voice, he'd be more at home in Petticoat Lane than in a pulpit. However, that's no concern of ours. Take the car and enjoy your lunch.
Roger. What are you looking so sour about, Cannon?
The first time in 3 weeks we get an expense account, and you have to pick a pub that sells cider and whelks.
Here you are, sir. 2 pints of cider, 2 pints of whelks, and a loaf of Ovis with farm butter.
Thanks. We've got to meet the local reverend here after lunch. Will he come in the bar, or should we wait in the lounge? We don't know him, you see.
Reverend Martin Wells, sir?
I mean Parson Purley.
Oh, him. You had me fair worried for a minute, sir. Well, if Purley said he was going to meet you here, then he'll be in the 4 Ale Bar.
Who is this Parson Purley, then?
Oh, he's a foreigner up from London. Came here a couple of years ago when the old church was up for sale. He bought it and the 10 acres of land that stands on it. He's a pig farmer, and from what I hear tell, not a very good one. Still, he's always got plenty of ready about him, so maybe he's got private means.
Then he's not a parson.
Oh, bless you, lady, no. The opposite, I'd say. No, it's a nickname. You know, from him buying the old church. You know how it is.
Yeah, well, we came down to mend one of the bells.
Oh, them. Drive you balmy, it would. There's folks who'd have liked to have seen him taken out before the sale, but, well, there they are, and well, they are his property, so he can do what he likes with them, I suppose, can he?
You mean he still rings them?
Yeah, every full moon. Clanging away like the marker boys at Southend. There's plenty who thinks he's got a screw loose. And one thing, though, he don't get no pinching on his place. The locals reckon the place is haunted. And what the Reverend Wells has to say about him don't help much either.
Well, now I know why the verger didn't risk his neck.
Lord of Bitterary! Excuse me, ladies, sir. All right, Ted, I'm coming.
Well, what do you know?
The chief's got second sight.
A deserted church,
Haunted at full moon.
If you're trying to get a rise out of me, Cannon, you're wasting your time. We mend the bell in the daylight. With any luck this afternoon.
Excuse me. The barman said that you're the man from London who's come to fix my tenor bell. I'm Pearlie.
Oh, hi, Mr. Pearlie.
Mr. Pearlie?
Well, the bartender said the parson was only a nickname, and we're taught to be polite.
The barman's a fool. However, let's not dwell on that. Didn't the other man come with you? I distinctly told Mr. Mason that the task would require 2 pairs of hands.
Well, meet my assistant, Parson Pearlie, Gail Hamilton, assignments unlimited.
A woman?
Don't worry about her, Mr. Pearlie. She's as good as any 2 ordinary men.
It's not that, it's... how are your nerves, miss?
Like Toledo steel.
She can climb anywhere and has a head for heights.
Oh, I see. Well, Mr...
Cannon,
we have a society in Potter's Bar. It's a private society, and the details don't really matter. Suffice to say that I'm the head of this society, and the name Parson is not altogether an irreverent nickname. I did hope to have the tenor bell repaired this afternoon, but at a hastily convened meeting it was decided that no work could be carried out in the old church in daylight.
Oh, I see. High jinks under the high moon.
That was not terribly funny.
Oh, don't worry about me, Parson. I'm the 5th wheel to the wagon. Whatever you want, we'll do it. Anywhere, anytime, remember?
It was because you have to work at night that I was thinking about the young lady. There are certain scurrilous rumours about the old rectory. The locals in Potter's Bar are notorious gossips.
And they say the joint is haunted. Gail here will take it all in the right spirit.
That's right.
Oh, then if I may be permitted to show you the ropes... Yes, show you the ropes, both literally and metaphorically. You see, it's in the ropes that the danger lies. If you don't do it right, you can hang yourself better than the public executioner could.
Splish, splash, the water hogs, splashing all day long. Using up the water, it's too late when it's gone. If you want to help them, this is what to do. Make sure the water hog is never, never you. Just make sure the water hog is never, ever you.
The following classic Springbok radio commercial comes to you with the courtesy of the Springbok Radio Preservation Society of South Africa.
Hot rice pancakes. There's something to sing about.
Tastic rice pancakes, of course, because Tastic rice is wonderful in all sorts of recipes.
And Tastic rice is rich in the vital B group vitamins, and it's so economical.
So insist on perfect cooking Tastic rice.
Fantastic, fantastic, tasty, fantastic, tastic rice.
Tastic rice cooks perfectly every time.
Fantastic, fantastic, tasty, fantastic, tastic rice.
There's a lovely Tastic rice recipe book in full color and absolutely free, waiting for you right now.
Send 10 empty Tastic rice bags or facsimiles to Box 20, Industria Transvaal for your copy of that wonderful Tastic rice recipe book.
At that moment, as Cannon and Gail Hamilton talked with the shifty-eyed Parson Pearlie and the gun and magpie, they had no knowledge of the desperate cries wrung from the lips of some unknown sufferer in the bell tower. In fact, there was no logical reason for suspecting Pearlie of anything abnormal. Cannon, however, is a cautious operator, no doubt engendered by years of volcano lip living, and so it was that he and Gail proceeded to the old church after dark with not a little trepidation.
You okay, Gail?
I'm fine. The air's musty, though, like rotten vegetation. Yet the church grounds are on a slope.
Swine.
Who? The villagers?
That's the smell. Pearlie's a pig farmer. Parsons Pearlie's prize pigs permeate the parsonage.
Pooh. What do you say to a pig, by the way, if you meet one?
I don't know. I guess you'd say it's swell meeting you. They'll be penned up anyway, I hope.
Why do you hope?
Well, pigs running loose can be dangerous.
You're kidding.
I'm not. A hog will panic if it's suddenly frightened in the dark and charge. And 400 pounds of porker in your midriff and you'll come a proper cropper, my girl.
You're just saying that to make me nervous.
No, not really. I was just trying to take your mind off the hideous ghost that stalks the lonely church at midnight.
You're a pig.
You be careful, I don't charge. Well, that's it. We're going in the right direction.
Gives me the shivers. Why do we have to make the repair at night? I think that barman's right. Parson Purley's as nutty as a fruitcake.
It could be. But then he doesn't know we're starting 1 hour early.
What was that?
I don't know. But it sure didn't sound like the mating call of a nightingale.
It came from the direction of the church.
Well, they won't expect us around yet. It's maybe one of their screwy rights, you know, like a thumb screw.
Well, what do we do?
We'll fix the bell stay like the man said. That's what we came for. Come on, can't be far now. Barely a scream away. Penny. Penny for your thoughts. I never complete the quotation. I once asked a doll in Idaho a penny for your thoughts. She thought I said a penny for your shorts. Of course, it was her bloomer.
Karen, I appreciate your kindness in trying to keep my spirits up, but my morale would improve greatly if you just shut up. Anyway, there's the old church ahead now.
Yeah, and all lit up. We skirt round the side and shinny up to the bell tower. I'll have a quick look inside to see if anybody's around.
Well, I'm glad the lights are on.
Yeah, makes it easier to work. You go on around the back. I'll take a look in the front door.
I may as well come with you. There's no real hurry.
But why don't you admit that you're scared to blazes over that two-headed ghost?
I am not scared.
Okay. Go look in the window. You see anything?
Not a soul.
Okay. Come on, let's go up. There's some iron staples in the wall here someplace. They lead right up to the loft. Saves us going via the ringing platform, and it's safer.
Why safer?
Well, you heard what the parson said. If you catch your head in one of those ropes, it'll hang you quicker than the executioner. Oh, here we are. Here are the staples. Okay, Gail, honey, let's climb. Come on. Up. Just mind I don't tread on your fingers, huh? Come on, it's not much further. Nearly there. Yeah, that's me. Now you come up. Go on.
Thanks.
Yeah. There, you see that little one that's tilted nearly upside down? Well, that's where the stay's broken. Well, it's easy. Shouldn't take more than an hour.
From the parson's explanation, I don't see how it works.
That's because you have no mechanical mind. You see, the ropes down below on the platform are each attached to a bell. The rope is pulled until the bell is in an upright position. Then a light pull, and the bell swings down and rings. Those oak staves at the top of the circle are the stays. If they weren't there, the bell would swing right over in a full circle. The one on the tenor bell is broken, as you can see. That's why the bell's tilted at a crazy angle.
I see. But the big bells only clear the floor by a couple of feet. Why, if anyone started ringing right now...
Well, go on, say it. The bell would crush you to pulp. But we're safe. There's nobody here.
We didn't look down on the ringing platform.
Well, suppose you look now. Yeah, through that hole in the floor. I'll get the tackle ready to move the tenor bell.
All right.
Hey, what's with you?
Karen, come and look. Down there.
Oh, what can you see?
A dead boy hanging from a bell rope.
Yeah, I see him.
That scream you heard.
Yeah, maybe. Look, we gotta get down there and cut him down. Come on, this way.
Karen, the lights. The lights have gone out.
Gail, get down. Lie flat. Get down, Gail. Flat on the floor. Come on. Look, if you keep flat, you'll be all right.
Who's ringing them? There's nobody there except a dead boy hanging from a rope.
Look, I'm going to crawl over to the center hole. You stay here and keep flat. If you try and stand, you'll distribute your brains around the bell tower.
What are you going to do?
You can only be a ghost, and I brought my ghost cure outfit. Now you stay where you are. Now stay flat in your tummy, baby, but crawl over here. Come on.
Whoever it was, you frightened them away.
Yeah, maybe. Look, you hold the gun. I want to use my flashlight. If anybody shoots, fire at their flash.
Okay.
All ready? Nobody. Not a sign of anybody the bird's flown.
Cannon! The body! It's gone!
So it is. I never saw a faster resurrection.
And the rope's been cut. The rope he was hanging from. Who could have got up there?
Now listen carefully, honey. You and me, we're going to climb back down those outside staples and run for it across the fields. I want you to play act that you're awful scared, okay?
Who says I need to play act? My knees are knocking anyway.
Yeah, well, with the price of nylons today, that's vandalism. Come on, let's go.
All right.
Now, don't fall whatever you do. You okay?
Yeah, fine.
We're nearly done. There. Hello?
Sorry, did I startle you? Good evening, Mr. Cannon. Right on time, I see. Shall we go in? I have the key.
How long have you been here, Pilly?
Oh, I've just arrived this minute. Why, did you get here early?
We did. And you won't need the key. The door's open.
Really? Who opened it then?
It was open when we arrived and the lights were on.
Follow me, quickly. There. It's locked, as you see. Let's go in and I'll switch on the lights. Take a pew. Literally and metaphorically.
Pilly, old man, you have some explaining to do.
Yes, I have.
You admit it?
Not perhaps in the way you think. You arrived here early tonight and you thought that you found the door of the church open and the lights on.
We didn't think. That's what we saw.
Allow me to continue, please. You took the outside wall ladder to the belfry, and when you looked down onto the platform, you saw a dead lad hanging from a bell rope. The lights went out and the bells started ringing. You climbed back down and met me.
Say, what is this, a murder confession?
No, merely a repetition of a strange psychic phenomena that my society has been trying to unravel. You see, none of those things really happened. You imagined the whole thing.
Yeah, you go tell that to the ghost squad.
I see you're not convinced. Very well. Shall we climb up to the platform and cut the poor lad down?
Somebody has done that already. When we looked again, the rope was cut and the body had gone.
The rope was cut. Please follow me.
Do as he says, girl.
Well, here we are. Now, Miss Hamilton, which rope was cut?
Cannon, it's all in one piece again.
I know it's frightening, but no harm can come to you. It's a sad tale. The boy who was accidentally hanged by the bell rope.
You mean there was a boy hanging there?
Yes, a tragedy. But it happened nearly 100 years ago. Now, if I stay with you, do you think you might mend the stay?
Sure, but that only requires one man to fix it. While I'm up there, Gale stays down here with a gun.
A gun, Mr. Cannon?
Yeah. You see, I'm allergic to bats.
Do you think we should tell the chief about the psychic phenomenon, Cannon?
Sure, but only after we've laid that pesky poltergeist.
Laid the ghost?
You think we're going back to London? Well, we're not. This road leads around the back of that old church, and we're paying the phony parson a fleeting visit.
But why?
Maybe because I think all that psychic phenomenon is bunk. Then again, it's maybe I don't like some cheap chiseler trying to murder me. And don't give me all this, all in the mind jazz. If we'd been 10 seconds longer dropping to the floor, Mr. Aubrey Mason would be advertising for 2 new operators. Now, there's a stream runs from here right past the church. Come on, take off your shoes. We walk in the water, and if it gets too deep, we swim.
But why go back?
Because I got a feeling that the parson's going to have a meeting in that church tonight, and I want to be there to listen to his sermon. Only I don't want him to know about it.
Must we walk in the river?
Yep. The parson uses those hogs like watchdogs. And there's something about pigs I didn't mention. Together with the camel, it's the only animal in the world that can't swim.
Parson, I didn't mean to kill him. It must have been an accident.
Of course it was an accident, my dear Timothy. Pardon me for using your Christian name, Mr. Cornish, but we've become very close over the past few days, and you can treat me as a true friend. happened.
Will the police believe it was an accident?
And you, a wizard of the black magic circle, Mr. Cornish? I'm afraid they won't be easily convinced. But the lad's body has been neatly disposed of. Pigs are omnivorous animals, you know. Of course, I shall need a little more cash, say £5,000.
Parson, that's blackmail.
An ugly word, Mr. Cornish.
You're like your mug, Parson.
Huh?
Don't do that. This gun has a reputation for being consistently accurate.
Who are you?
The guy who nearly bought a pig in a poke. The game's up, Parson, and you, whoever you are, don't have to worry about that kid. He's alive and kicking. It was just a stunt.
Where is he?
Where I found him, in the vestry. And he's being guarded by a very, very tough baby. Yeah, he's in the vestry. I knew all along that the dirty jobs went to the Virgin.
Parson Purley's game was blackmail. He inveigled Timothy Cornish into the disgusting rites of black magic, the ringing of bells being an important function. He staged the fake hanging of his youthful accomplice, meaning Cornish to find the body. But Cannon and Gail Hamilton arrived at the church an hour early, and saw what they thought was the dead body of the boy. In fact, his body was supported by a box, the type provided on any bell-ringing platform. Knowing he'd been seen by strangers, the youth turned out the lights and began to ring the bells, with the obvious intent to kill my two operators. But Cannon is hard to kill. Oh, and he's a hard-headed businessman, too. Parson Purley went to jail for a long time, but Timothy Cornish settled the bill, quite handsomely, too.
You've had this mad fixation about climbing a mountain. I just don't understand you.
You don't have to understand me, Roger. All I ask is that you accompany me on one climb.
For the last time, Mabel, I won't do it, especially at a time like this.
That's just what I thought you'd say.
Then why even bother to ask me?
Because for one idiotic moment I thought that you, my brother, might grant me one small wish. Oh, but don't let it bother you. I'm sure I can find someone else.
A guide? You'll have to tell him all about yourself. After all, that would only be fair on the guide, and I don't think that when he knows the true circumstances, any guide will take on the job.
It's for that reason I'm not going to ask a guide. At least, not the ordinary run of guides.
Don't tell me you're going to the Boy Scouts.
There's a firm in the West End that specializes in unusual jobs. Assignments unlimited. They might be able to help me. It's worth a try anyway. I'm going up there this afternoon. Their offices are at 33 Half Moon Street.
My usual wont, to introduce to you my client before the story unfolds. But tonight, I'd like you to eavesdrop on a London scene that occurred just 24 hours before my client decided to come to 33 Half Moon Street.
So you came, eh?
As you knew I would.
Don't worry about the two blokes on either side of us. They work for me.
Afraid of witnesses, Sid?
Not of these witnesses. In fact, I'd like them to get to know you better. For future reference, like.
If it's the money.
It's always the money, Mr. Dixon. It could hardly be a social occasion, could it? I mean, you and me, we're not on the same social
Why don't
scale.
you get on with it and say what you have to say?
I hope your purse is as big as your lip.
It's just a matter of time. I told you that.
You're right. A matter of time. You've got exactly 1 week.
A week? I can't guarantee anything in a week.
I can. Show him your toothpick, Eddie.
A razor.
Guaranteed to give you a clean shave. Right down to the bone.
Now, wait a minute.
No, not a minute. I'm a reasonable man. A week. Either you produce £3,847 at this time next week, or you meet Eddie for the second time.
You can't do this to me.
Want a demonstration?
Please, Sid. I don't know for sure if I'll have the money in a week's time.
You should have thought of that before you played the GGs. Suppose you'd won. I'd have paid you, wouldn't I? And I wouldn't have asked for time, would I?
I'll pay you interest.
Mr. Dixon, I'm interested only in the lolly. In cash. I'll see you here same time next week. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to go out and pay 25s to a geezer who was lucky today. Backed 6 winners out of 8 starts. It was a proper carver.
Fate has a crooked finger, but it points with inexorable directness at destiny. In a ragged shack, leaning bleak and lonely among the barren foothills of Mount Snowdon, a heavily built man sat down to his meager supper. His face bore the lines of strain, the strain of frustration tainted with pent-up anger. A faded leather jerkin hung limply on his shoulders, and his faded denim trousers rolled down over his high-top boots as though to hide their tattered shame from the world. He said nothing as he idly stirred the learned dumpling in the thin soup. It was his wife who broke the silence, a thin, mousy woman with a red nose, her bony body enshrouded in the voluminous folds of a corn-sack apron.
How'd it go at the meeting?
Same.
Don't you ever give up.
I'll win in the end, Lucy.
That's what you've been saying for the past 6 months.
Just have patience, lass.
I've got patience, Jack Hawthorne. Lots of it. The patience any mountaineer's wife must have if she's to remain in her right mind, but patience doesn't pay the grocer's bills, and you don't have to look at your supper too hard to know we're starving.
I know, lass.
Then why don't you do something about it, man?
Like what?
Get another sort of job.
Here we go again.
Well, anything's better than sitting here day after day and things going from bad to worse. Just a temporary job. Just something to tide us over.
If I leave now, it means the committee has won. I'll never get another job as guide as long as I live.
Then let's go back home to Shapfell. We didn't do so bad.
That antique. The money's here.
That's a laugh.
Well, it wasn't until that bloated beggar had his heart attack on the east face.
That's no way to speak of the dead, Jack Hawthorne.
Maybe not, but how was I to know he'd die on me? What am I supposed to do? Give every client a medical before I take him up?
You're supposed to bring him back alive.
I'm a mountaineer, not a ruddy white hunter.
Well, you haven't lost all your sense of humour anyway.
That's a blessing, I don't think. Giggs fell from that ledge because he had an heart attack, not because of my incompetence. I could lose any of those toughies on that mountain.
Everyone knows that, love.
Then why won't they let me back into the committee? Answer me that. What? No, don't waste your breath. If I were a third-rate gilly like the rest of them, I'd have been back on the mountain the day after he was buried. So blazes with the committee, I say. If only I could get a private job without their sanction.
But everyone goes to the committee for recommendations.
Don't I know it? You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see one of them Gaelic gentlemen take up someone who wasn't really fit to go and have him die on him.
Jack Hawthorne.
All right, it's a terrible thing to say. But if it happened, they wouldn't have a leg to stand on, would they? They'd have no choice but to let me back into the committee. Just one accidental death when the climber wasn't fit to climb.
My client was Miss Mabel Dixon, a well-bred young lady of some 20 years. She carried herself with a proud bearing that indicated a strong character, a strength her physical appearance failed to match. She was pale and wan, and even the twinkling eyes and generous smile couldn't hide some intense inner suffering, which is probably why I was surprised at her request. She wanted to climb a mountain, and she asked me to provide a companion. I learned nothing of her from our brief encounter. It was to Cannon that she filled in the details on their journey west in the train compartment.
I so want this holiday to be a success, Mr. Cannon. And I would like us to be on a friendly footing.
Well, I'm the epitome of geniality, ma'am.
Then we can start by using first names. I'm Mabel.
Well, now, there you got me. I only go by my nickname.
That is Mr. Cannon?
Cannon.
Your nickname is the same as your surname.
Well, you said you wanted fun. The name's Cannon, but believe me, I'm no big bore.
All right, then Cannon it shall be. Have you done much mountain climbing?
Well, I gave Everest a miss, and I find something offensive in tropical snow, so I passed up Kilimanjaro. But I can crab a wall and negotiate a chimney, so I guess I'll do.
I'm so glad.
And I guess I'll pick up a few tips from you.
Well, not from me, Cannon. This is the first mountain I've ever tried to climb.
Huh?
Will it make any difference?
No, I guess not, but, why start with Snowden? I mean, you could have had your first lesson on a coal mine slag heap or something.
When my father was alive, he wouldn't let me go. His excuse was that we couldn't afford it. I took that with a pinch of salt. Oh, we weren't terribly rich, mark you, but I knew it wasn't the expense that dictated his motive.
He just didn't like the idea of his favorite daughter hanging by a slender thread on her life, is that it?
That's better put than you realize. However, we did have one wealthy member of the family, an aunt. The same name as myself, Mabel. She was a crotchety old thing, but underneath the temple was a heart of gold. She left me a tidy sum in cash, and I can do what I like with it. Poor Roger was furious.
Who's Roger?
My brother. Aunt Mabel just never took to him somehow. But then she never was on the best of terms with anyone. In her will, she said I could do anything with the money except loan any to Roger.
And that's a bad thing?
Oh, you don't know Roger. He's always in some financial jam or another. I suppose that's why Aunt Mabel made the condition. Of course, Roger's my beneficiary. Everything goes to him when I die.
Well, his chances are about as good as the Irish sweepstake. But tell me, why didn't he come on this trip with you?
Self-sacrifice is not Roger's strong point. Oh, but I'd much rather be with you anyway. You don't think I'm balmy, wanting to climb Snowdon? Oh, or do you?
No. I mean, different people get kicks out of different things. I once knew a guy who was a pothole addict, and crawling around underground caves. Now, I'd say the urge to climb mountains is a much more normal quirk. Don't ask me why, because... Well, maybe on a mountaintop you're nearer to heaven.
Yes. You would be nearer to heaven, wouldn't you? You talked about my hanging by a slender thread on my lifeline.
Yeah, a mountaineering term.
And a medical one for me.
And what do you mean?
I've never been really strong. And for what's wrong with me, there's no known cure. Oh, the last thing I want is to appear dramatic. I'm quite reconciled to the fact.
But, Mabel, if your health isn't all that good, why in Pete's name do you want to climb to the top of Snowdon?
Why does your friend want to go potholing? All my life, I've looked at the mountain peaks cooling themselves in cloud. I've wondered, how I've wondered what it would be like to stand up there, just for a moment, to breathe in the cold air, to feel the mist at my feet, the hard rock under my hand, and the green world below stretching away for mile after mile. Can you understand?
Yeah, I guess I do.
Then you'll take me up, Cannon?
Sure. I'll get you up to the top of that mountain if I have to carry you there.
Oh, you mustn't do that. If I wanted to reach the top the easy way, I could take the mountain railway. I suppose you did know there was a railway running up the easy slope.
A railroad on the easy slope? Now, that never entered my head. Mabel, I was born on the other side of the tracks, and that's where I aim to stay. Anyway, what would you do with an ice pick in a Pullman coach?
Oh, it's hardly that sort of railway.
Well, for you and me, the trippers who go by loco are loco. Us, we'll let off steam on the sheerest wall we can find. Oh, there is one thing, though. We'll have to hire a guy.
Must we?
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Oh, but I mean, knowing about me, will they let us go?
Well, what about you? I'm hiring the guide. You're just tagging along. Nobody need know a thing. And you and me, when we're right on top of that mountain, we'll be a king and a queen. We'll be monarchs of all we survey. We'll hold hands and breathe in that cold air, and just for a moment, we'll know what it's like in paradise.
Die goeie ou dae van Springbok Radio is terug. 20 onverkrygbare liedjies nou op 1 CD. Met al
jou gunstelinge. Virginia Lee, Cora Marie, Anton Goosen, Sonja Herold, Cupido en vele meer. Herleef Springbok Radio, Afrikaanse treffers.
Enjoy the best of both worlds. Only 2 hours drive from Johannesburg and Pretoria and half an hour by air. The magnificent Sundown Ranch Hotel and Lion Park, just 10 kilometers from the Pilansberg Game Reserve and Sun City Resort. It offers an exciting escape from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Reasonable rates, excellent food, friendly service and comfortable air-conditioned rooms. It will ensure a memorable stay. Activities include tennis, squash, horse riding, the Lion Park and much, much more. Call now to make your reservation on 014-573-1000. That's 014-573-1000 or visit their website at www.destinations.co.za/Sundown Ranch. The Sundown Ranch Hotel and Lion Park. 2 worlds in one.
The Mountain Hotel is snug and cosy with a cheerful untidiness. In summer, the great open fireplaces grin a broad grin of welcome, as though to entice the visitor back when the bitter snows of winter blanket the fells. But this afternoon was warm, and the hot sun shoveled in smells of new-cut hay through the lattice windows. Mabel Dixon sat quietly reading, awaiting the return of Cannon from the village. His return was much quicker than she'd anticipated.
You're back early. Is something wrong?
No guide.
You mean they're all engaged?
I mean, no guide will take on the job.
Oh, but why?
You mind if I pour myself a drink?
Of course not. But Cannon, why?
Give you one guess.
Me? But you said you wouldn't tell them.
I already knew. Cheers.
But how could they have known? Who could have told them? Oh, I see.
What do you see?
You don't want to take a chance on me, so you told them. Well, I can't say that I blame you. I suppose it was stupid of me to expect anything else, really.
I did not tell them. And before you continue to upbraid me as a low-down heel and liar, let me inform you, Miss Dixon, that I intend taking you to the top of that rock pile alone by myself.
Cannon, I'm sorry. Oh, please don't let's quarrel. It's just that... Well, how could they have known?
Now, you said that you had a fair circle of friends. You even said they were mostly women. Now, I don't want to be disparaging about the fair sex, but, well, you know how women...
They wouldn't.
Well, and they might have meant the best.
But nobody knew, I tell you. I didn't tell anyone.
Well, the committee knew and refused a guide. And they didn't find out at a seance, and they didn't know about it by mental telepathy.
Well, hello, sister.
Roger!
Quite a cozy nest you picked out, my fledgling. A welcome change from the London gin palaces I'm used to. Now, aren't you going to introduce us?
Mr. Cannon, my brother Roger.
How do you do?
Right.
You, I take it, are the man from Assignments Unlimited.
Roger. Roger.
And a wit to boot.
Roger, how did you know I was here?
You travelled by train, my sweet. You had an uncontrollable urge to climb a mountain. The booking office said you were headed towards Wales. Well, I'm no Sherlock Holmes, but I didn't need a Dr. Watson to tell me your destination was Mount Snowdon.
Why did you come?
I couldn't sleep thinking about all those mountain guides and you panting along an ice cap.
You told them?
The committee? Yes, I told them.
You beast!
Now, steady on, old girl. What I did was for the best.
You deliberately made it impossible for me to climb the mountain.
Wrong. I've made it possible for you to climb the mountain without any embarrassment to the mountaineering committee. I will be your guide. Me in person. All my gear is stacked in one of the hotel rooms, and we can take off for the summit at any time you choose, weather permitting.
When I asked you to come with me in London, you refused. Why the sudden change of heart?
Remorse. I didn't really take you seriously at first, but when I rang Assignments Unlimited and they said you'd hired one of their operators, well, I thought I'd follow you.
May I ask a question?
Certainly.
Are you a mountaineer?
In an amateurish way, yes.
Mm-hmm. Then what makes you think we don't need a guide?
We?
Yeah, well, I'm coming too.
That won't be necessary, Mr. Cannon.
No, I only don't go if the lady says no.
Really? Then what does the lady say?
Mr. Cannon comes.
A nice, cozy threesome it is, then.
Wrong again. A foursome. You forgot the guide.
There'll be no guide. The committee wouldn't touch us with a barge pole.
No guide, no climb.
It's hardly your decision, old boy.
Well, I'll find a guide.
You want to bet?
Why not? From what your sister says, you always lose anyway.
In her little expose of our family life, did she include the reason for my concern over her safety?
She told me about her sickness.
That's the same thing.
Is it? Well, you know, safety is a loose term. I mean, a funeral pyre is lit by a safety match. Like I said, I'll find the guide. And I wouldn't bet on it, friend, because I was blessed with extraordinary powers of persuasion.
Lucy! Lucy, where are you?
Out the back. What's happening? What's all the shouting about? Jack, you're smiling. I haven't seen you smile in 6 months.
I've got a client.
You haven't?
I have, and a rich one, too. Yank.
A yank? Oh, that's rich enough. You're not pulling my leg.
Of course not, lass. A party of 3, English couple, and the Yankees paying.
Oh, Jack, I never thought to see it happen. I didn't say out to you, but I never thought to see it happen.
Well, it has happened, lass, and I've got £5 in advance.
Oh, yeah.
Here.
I'd forgotten what they looked like.
You'll be seeing plenty of them from now on. What are you doing, lass?
I had it away in case of sickness, like. Reckon it'll do for a celebration now, huh?
You're a one, you are.
Oh, I knew that committee would see reason in the end. They had to.
It's got nothing to do with the committee as this job.
Nothing to do with the committee? Then how did he find you?
One of the party, the girl, has something wrong with her.
Something wrong?
Aye. Weak heart, for all I know. Anyway, they wouldn't recommend a guard, so the Yank come to me. He must have had word somewhere that I'm not a member of the committee.
Oh, you mustn't do it, Jack. What if she were to die up there?
No sense in looking on the black side, is there? If she's going, she's going. They must know what they're doing. It's all legal and above board.
The committee must know, Jack. They wouldn't refuse her for nothing.
And if I were a member of the committee, I'd have to abide by their ruling, wouldn't I? If they hadn't kept me out of the committee, there wouldn't be any trip to the mountain, would there? So if she dies, I can't be held to blame, can I? And if 20 people a week arrive with weak hearts, the committee can't stop them climbing, can they? No, not as long as I'm a freelance and willing to take them. Let's drink to that lass, shall we? This is the hard part. See that your ropes are tied secure. All right, miss?
Yes?
Mr. Cannon?
Okay.
You, Mr. Dixon?
Fine.
Now, we move out across the face. This is where you find out how a fly feels. Whatever you do, don't look down. All right, the order is me first, then you, Mr. Cannon, then the lady, and Mr. Dixon brings up the rear. I'll tug as well as shout for the next one to follow. Here I go. Come now, Mr. Cannon! Miss Dixon, your turn. The rope snapped! It's the rope! Hold on! I'm coming back! Where is she?
Down there. The outcrop broke her fall and she's clinging to a ledge.
I hope to heaven she can hang on.
How do we get down to her?
From here, we can't. I'll have to climb down and come up to her.
But the wall overhangs. To try that'd be suicide.
I'm the guide, Mr. Cannon. Suicide or not, that's what I'm going to do. You two wait here.
You can't do it, Hawthorne.
I know my duty, Mr. Cannon.
Wait. It's no use, Hawthorne. Cannon's right. It will be suicide to try and climb up there. Anyway, it'll take you too long. She's not very strong at the best of times. She'll never hold on there until you can reach her.
You got any other suggestions?
Yes, I have. There's a ledge running along the face. I think we can reach her along that.
It's crumbly, Mr. Dixon. It's liable to give way underneath you.
I'll take that chance.
Yeah, I see it. And I think I can make it.
This is my wicked cannon. She's my sister. Anyway, I'm by far the lightest. There's less chance of it crumbling under me.
I can't let you do it, Mr. Dixon. If the rock crumbles, you'll fall to a certain death.
Just try and stop me. Now listen. I'll take a line with me and tie it round her. Stake in this end, and I'll swing her out if the ledge gives way. Right?
Good luck, sir.
Yeah. Good luck, kid.
I got her. We're coming back.
Well, what do we do now, Hawthorne?
Just pray, I reckon, sir.
All right. Take care.
I've got you. You all right, miss?
I'm all right.
You don't know how lucky you are.
Can you say that again?
The mountain challenged me. And I won.
Wasn't the mountain challenge you, Mabel?
What's that?
Take a look at this rope where it snapped. It's been cut with a knife halfway through.
In his customary laconic tones, Cannon told me the whole story back in the office at 33 Half Moon Street. But he'd taken no action in the matter, and this I thought odd. But, Cannon, if that rope had been cut halfway through, then someone tried to murder the girl.
Who, Chief?
Well, from what you've told me, both Hawthorne the guide and Roger the brother had ample motive.
Look, they were both ready immediately to risk their own lives to save her. Roger, as a matter of fact, did risk his life. Now, that was a gallant act on his part. And, Chief, you don't organize a murder and then risk your neck to save the victim. Anyway, if the murder of any particular person was intended, then it was intended for me.
You? Well, who on earth would want to murder you?
Nobody. But you see, I rang the changes on our equipment before we started. I figured Mabel Dixon would be safer with my rope and tackle. How wrong can you be? Somebody wanted an accident on that mountain, and it wasn't Roger Dixon or Jack Hawthorne.
Then who?
Well, that's anybody's guess, but there's one thing. Nobody on the committee is jealous of Hawthorne anymore. He's right back with it. In fact, they've asked him to be secretary.
And Roger Dixon?
Oh, his sister got him out of trouble. The old aunt's will said no loan, but it didn't preclude an outright gift. I do hear tell he's given up gambling for good. Must have been the mountain air.
Have you heard from Mabel Dixon?
Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, we're going away for the weekend, mountain climbing, and, well, this time we know the way.
You! No! Please! No!
Interesting little parcel, isn't it, Charlie?
Yeah. Looks like a box of chocolates wrapped in brown paper.
Expensive chocolates.
You can hide it.
Presents are always concealed from the receiver until the day of giving. This will be no exception, Charlie.
Well, where will you hide it? In a safe deposit box?
No, Charlie. What if we wanted to give it away on a Sunday? The banks are closed on Sunday.
Well, where then? It's got to be somewhere safe since it's so valuable.
In the offices of a man named Aubrey Mason.
Who's he?
A most reliable gentleman who operates from an address in the West End. 33 Half Moon Street.
I never actually met Hiram Fraser, in person, that is, but I spoke to him over the telephone. That he was an American was obvious by his accent. That he was eccentric like most Americans I've met, was evident in his peculiar request. Mr. Fraser had purchased a wedding present.
We've never met, Mr. Mason. I took your phone number off an ad in the weekend newspaper. It says go anywhere, do anything.
We have a reputation in that regard, Mr. Fraser. We try to live up to it within reason.
Oh, then that's just fine. The place I want you to go to is in Pell Street near Tower Bridge. What I want you to do is look after a parcel for me.
A parcel?
It's a wedding present for the daughter of an acquaintance of mine. I just arrived in England and have to go north on business. And now I hear that the date of the wedding is undecided, and I don't want to be caught short.
It sounds like a very special parcel, Mr. Fraser.
It is. Well, it's very valuable anyway.
I'll send a man to pick it up, of course. But, well, wouldn't the parcel be safer in a bank?
I thought of that, but the banks close on Sundays, and that day, I'm told, is very popular for weddings in England.
And if the wedding is on a Sunday, you'd be stuck with a parcel in a bank.
Well, not only that, Mr. Mason, I might not even be here in London. If the wedding present's in your possession and I'm in the north, I can telephone down and you can deliver it.
Well, that seems a sensible arrangement. We'll be glad to act for you, Mr. Fraser.
Thank you.
Now, where can I contact you?
Well, I'm leaving in an hour, and I'm not sure where I'll be staying in Greenock. It's best if I ring you in a few days. The parcel is at number 84 Pell Street. The woman there will hand it over. What's the name of the messenger?
Cannon. Just plain Cannon. I didn't bother to fill Cannon in on the details, merely instructing him to pick up a parcel at 84 Pell Street and bring it straight back to the office. This was a pity in a way, since Cannon's suspicions would surely have been aroused. Fraser had said the package was very valuable, yet it was handed to him by a filthy old crone, landlady of the flophouse slum that was 84 Pell Street. However, Cannon collected the neatly wrapped package, tucked it under his arm, and began his return journey via the tube.
Phew, what a rush. Mind if I sit next to you while I wait for my train?
It's a free country.
Oh,
Oh?
you're an American.
That's right. Any objection?
No, of course not. I'm sorry if I sounded rude. Trouble is, I've an incurable habit of talking to people I don't know. That makes me forward, doesn't it? I didn't expect an American.
Oh, forward in England, maybe, but friendly in the States.
Do you know Hiram Fraser?
I can't say I do. Should I?
He's an American. That's rather like the old lady who asked General Montgomery if he knew her son, Private Smith. I just wondered.
Uh-huh. And where are you off to in such a hurry?
Earl's Court. The next train in is mine. You?
No, the inner circle, the one after yours, gives me a better connection.
You're going to the West End?
Yep, Half Moon Street, you know it?
Yes, I do. I do work there. Oh, there I go again. My insatiable curiosity.
Well, that's all right. Sure, I work there. As a matter of fact, I'm in the process of delivering this parcel there. How about you?
I work in a boutique in Charing Cross. Not a terribly highfalutin one. I'm delivering a parcel, too. And that's what I've got in this paper bag.
As a matter of fact, I was more interested in what you were doing after work.
I make it a rule, Mr. Cannon, never to meet the people I gossip with a second time. Oh, there's my hat. It'll blow onto the line.
That's all right. I'll get it. You just watch my parcel, huh? Yeah, here you are. I just made it. Hey, miss, your hat. Miss, your hat. My parcel. Oh, there it is on the seat. What a dizzy dame. Well, maybe they give out free hats in that Charing Cross boutique. Well, this is me. And maybe I'll work the Prince Charming routine on that Cinderella. I suppose a hat's as good as a shoe any day.
It looks a very ordinary parcel, Cannon. I wonder what's inside.
Chief, remember curiosity killed the cat?
Oh, I've no intention of opening it. That would be unethical.
Not only that, it'd be immoral.
What the dickens is that thing you're fiddling with?
Thing? Oh, Chief, this is a fine example of the milliner's art.
That? A hat?
And until the draft of an oncoming train in the tube whipped it away, it graced the head of a most attractive broad, but she disappeared underground via the tube station. I used that means of locomotion on the way to and from 84 Pell Street. It's not safe to visit that area in a taxicab. That is, if you could talk a cab driver into going there in the first place.
To Pell Street? Well, I must confess I don't know the area myself.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me, Chief, because your club has little in common with Skid Row, I fancy.
Cannon, I've learned to accept your descriptive powers with equanimity. Look, you'd better lock up this package in the safe.
Okay.
We're responsible for it, and Mr. Fraser said it was very valuable.
Valuable? A parcel from Pell Street?
Mr. Fraser is a rich American eccentric. He's bought a most valuable wedding present, and we have to look after it until he either calls or sends for it. Now, be a good fellow and put it in the safe.
Boy, he must be eccentric. You said Fraser? You know, that name rings a bell somewhere.
Yes?
Inspector Bottomley of the yard to see you, sir.
Oh, send him in, will you, Miss Fairweather?
Yes, sir.
I wonder what Bottomley wants.
A donation to the Police Widows and Orphans Fund.
Chief inspectors don't collect gratuitous handouts.
Chief, you know, someday this class distinction will drive me back to Arkansas.
Come in.
Afternoon, Aubrey. Cannon.
Oh, hi there, Inspector.
Hello, Inspector. Pull up a chair.
Yeah. Thank you. Ah, rum day, isn't it? 1 minute it's boiling hot, and the next you wish you'd brought your overcoat.
I agree. But you obviously didn't come here to discuss the vagaries of the weather.
No, I didn't. I came to see Cannon, as a matter of fact.
Okay, I'll come quietly, Inspector.
I'm serious, as a matter of fact.
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm not. What is it you want to see me about?
Mind if I ask you a question?
Go right ahead.
That plaster you have stuck on your chin, had it there long?
3 days. Kept myself shaving. Why?
I'm not concerned with the reason for the plaster, just that it's been there all day today.
I smell a mystery.
I don't suppose by any chance you were anywhere near Pell Street today?
No. I was right in Pell Street, number 84, but I didn't park a car illegally. I went by tube.
Ah, then it was you. The woman gave me a perfect description.
Of me?
Yes. I never thought for one moment that it would be you, but now she gave such a detailed description that you came to mind immediately. What were you doing at 84 Pell Street?
Well, I picked up a parcel and delivered it back here. See, what is all this?
Had you any idea what was in that parcel?
Of course not. My job was to pick it up, not inspect its contents.
Where's the parcel now?
In the safe.
Oh. May I see it?
Well, of course. But I can't allow you to open it, I'm afraid. It's in trust, as it were. I'll get it from the safe.
Why are you so interested in a parcel, Inspector?
As a matter of fact, I'm more interested in the people who called at 84 Pell Street today.
Here you are, Inspector.
Oh.
It's neatly wrapped, isn't it?
Yes. Who told you to collect it, Aubrey?
An American gentleman, Hiram Fraser.
Fraser?
Well, what's got into you?
I knew that name rang a bell. That the broad on the tube station.
Well, this is obviously no time for your comments on your doubtful girlfriend's Cannon.
Let him talk, Aubrey. What girl on the tube station, Cannon?
Well, I collected the package, I went to the tube and sat on a bench to wait for the train. And this dame sits down beside me and, well, she seemed surprised that I was an American. And she asked me if I knew a guy called Hiram Fraser.
Had you ever seen the girl before?
No, never.
But if you were collecting a parcel for Mr. Fraser, surely you would have developed the conversation?
Oh, may I butt in? I didn't tell Cannon anything about the assignment, except that, well, that he had to collect the package. Well, there seemed no point. It was such a straightforward job.
I see. And she mentioned Fraser, and you denied all knowledge of the man. Did she ask you about the parcel?
Yeah. Just let me think a minute. She sat down. Yeah, she was carrying a parcel too, but hers was in a paper carrier. Yeah, you know, I knew something was phony.
Yeah, well, what is it?
Well, you know how you do. I tried to make a date. You know how it is. And she said, Mr. Cannon, I never get to meet the people I gossip with a second time, or words to that effect.
Well, what's funny about that?
I told you I'd never met her before, and I didn't tell her my name, but she knew my name was Cannon. And just before the train pulled in, her hat blew off. I ran to get it, but when I got back, she was already on the train, and she vamoosed. The hat's on the couch over there.
You know what this means?
Yeah. Yes, she was laying for me, but why?
I have reason to believe that the innocent-looking parcel on Mr. Mason's desk contains a fortune in concentrated narcotic.
Wow. Then, we'd better open it.
But can we? I mean, without the owner's permission.
I can obtain permission from the authorities.
Well, won't that take a few days?
No, not in this case. Where murder is involved, permission is granted almost immediately.
Murder?
Yes. Acting on information received, I went to 84 Pell Street and found a man, a merchant seaman, with 2 bullets in his heart.
Cannon shifted uneasily in his chair. I confess to feeling a little apprehensive myself. There seemed nothing for it but to wait for Inspector Bottomley to speak.
Well, Aubrey, do I ring the yard, or shall we have an unofficial opening ceremony?
Well, you know best. It's really unethical to tamper with a client's property, but, well, if murder's involved, well, it's a matter...
Fortune and drugs. This I'd like to see. So, Fraser becomes the mouse, and you, Inspector, the cat.
Yeah? What makes you say that?
Well, I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? The guy called Fraser said he'd either collect the parcel or have me deliver it. All you have to do is wait his instructions, then, bingo, you got him.
I should tell you that the information I received was in connection with the narcotics. I stumbled upon the murdered man by accident, so to speak. His corpse lends credence to the information.
Oh, well, let's open the wretched package and put ourselves out of our misery.
Yeah, with $1 million worth of snow. Yippee!
Your sense of humor, Cannon.
Hold it, Chief.
There.
Holy smoke. Well, what is it, cocaine?
Flour, Cannon. Plain, ordinary flour.
I don't get it.
Somebody got it. The real parcel, I mean.
What real parcel?
Well, surely it's inconceivable that a man would send you all the way to Pell Street to pick up a parcel of flour, bearing in mind that the man's an American and it's not April the 1st.
Well, I'm as confused as you are, Inspector.
Did I say I was confused? A man is sent to pick up a valuable parcel of narcotic. Somehow he finds out what the parcel contains. It's to be left in his office for an indefinite period until a mysterious voice on the telephone calls for it or asks for it to be delivered. No other person handles the parcel, and yet, when it's opened by the police, it's found to contain plain, ordinary flour. Now, I wonder what happened to the fortune in narcotic.
Jeremy, are you suggesting that Cannon stole it?
What's your explanation, Aubrey?
Now, wait a minute. Look, suppose I enter the storytelling contest. A cop gets the tip-off that the junkies in Pearl Street are holding a parcel of dope at number 84. So he goes to investigate. But a messenger has already taken the parcel away. Description of messenger given by old crone of boarding housekeeper. But before the messenger got there, somebody rang the changes and handed him a parcel of flour. One of the boarders in 84 got to know about it, so he got the chop. The only dope the cop finds is a dead one with a bullet in his gizzard. How's that?
The story? It shows an inventive imagination. Unfortunately, Cannon, the dead sailor was very dead. In fact, he'd been dead for 3 days.
It seemed inconceivable that Inspector Bottomley should suspect Cannon. And yet it was a rum situation. Everything Bottomley said was true. Only Cannon had handled the parcel, and although we might never hear from Hiram Fraser again, it was ridiculous to think that he'd deliberately have Cannon pick up a worthless package of flour. The inspector left, leaving in his turn a sullen and rebellious Cannon, whose resentment turned suddenly into action as he swept from the office, determined to make Bottomley eat his words.
Hiram S. Fraser, would that be the gentleman?
Yeah, that's the one.
Immigration stamp Thursday the 23rd. Arrived aboard the steamship Salem, docked at East India Dock, Port of London Authority.
I just want to know the name of the captain of the SS Salem, and how can I get hold of him?
SS Salem? Well, that's Captain Mike Tager. Oh, as to how you'll find him, I don't know. His ship's sailing under a new skipper on her voyage to the east. He's been transferred. If I was you, I'd ask at the shipping line.
A tall, blonde girl, very good-looking. She lost her hat in the tube station, you see, and, well, I'd like to return it to her. She said she worked in a boutique in Charing Cross.
There are so many boutiques and hairdressing establishments here nowadays. It's all these young men with their long hair and guitars, you know.
Yeah.
Could I see the hat, perhaps?
Oh, yeah, here.
Yes, that is made by Alphonse. 3 streets down. Come to think of it, I know the lady you seek. A charming girl.
What's her name?
Name? Oh, it's Jeannie Tager.
Yes, we have the home address of Captain Tager, sir. He does work for us after all.
May I have it, please? It's a matter of some urgency.
Certainly, sir. Yes, here it is. Number 84, Pell Street.
Hey, Chief. Chief, I'm hot on the scent. Nose to the trail like a bloodhound. In fact, I figure I had this whole caboozle set up and sewn up.
Well, where did you go?
Well, I've covered half London. I know the name of the ship that brought Hiram Fraser to this country. I know the name of the skipper, and I've traced that broad in the tube station.
Well, good for you.
Now, look, I'll be away for 24 hours, and after that I'll have the guy who engineered this dope racket.
It'll take less than 24 hours, Cannon. First, you have a job to do, to deliver a package to a man called Charlie Johnston at the Bull and Gate in Pitman Lane. Tonight.
Can't somebody else go, Chief?
I don't think you quite understand, Cannon. Hiram Fraser has sent for his parcel.
He's what?
Yes, on the phone an hour ago.
What's his name again?
Charlie Johnston, the Bull and Gate.
Johnston. Bull and Gate. Did you tell Bottomley?
Well, yes. The inspector's been informed.
Oh, that's great. So all I have to do is deliver the package and wait for the long arm of the law to nab him as he accepts delivery. Nothing could be simpler. Do you mind if I sit down here?
Help yourself, lad.
Thanks.
Now, you here on business or pleasure now?
Well, a bit of both, really.
If you're looking for a berth, I got a few open for seamen and greasers. What's your rating?
No. I wasn't looking for a berth aboard ship.
And what else in the Bull and Gate?
As a matter of fact, I came to see a man called Charlie Johnston. I don't suppose you know him.
Johnston? I'll say I know him. He's held with me as first mate aboard the Solemn.
Solemn?
Not a bad old tub. More than I can say for Charlie Johnston. I've seen many a better first mate than him. But these days, you have to take what you can get.
Then, you'll be the skipper of the Solemn?
X. The company's transferred me to a bigger packet. Passenger line. Mind, I prefer cargo. It has less tantrums.
Captain Tager.
You know my name?
We've never met before, but I know your daughter, Jeannie.
Is that so now? She didn't tell me she knew any Americans.
Oh, well, no, we just met casually. Tell me, which one of these guys is Johnston?
Now, he's the big fella at the end of the bar.
Well, I've got to deliver this package to him. Maybe we could have a drink when I'm through, huh?
I'll be here.
Okay, I won't be a minute. Hi there, are you Charlie Johnston?
That's me. What can I do for you?
Well, the name's Cannon, assignment's unlimited. I have to hand you a parcel.
Oh, yes. Yes, for Mr. Fraser, is that it?
Yeah. Well, here you are.
Oh, thanks. Yes, that's nice and efficient. Have a drink?
Thanks, yeah, a beer.
2 pints of wallop, Julie. Are you the nervous type?
No, why?
Well, you keep looking towards the door as though you was expecting someone. Oh, thanks, Judy. Have one yourself. Well, mate, cheers.
Yeah, mud in your eye. Say, I'll need a signature for the parcel.
Oh, sure, yeah. Got an invoice?
Yeah, here you are. And the address as well.
Yeah, well, it's printed here. There you are.
Thanks. Are you going to be here long?
Yeah. Another hour or so. Why'd you ask?
Oh, no. No reason. I was offered a berth with Captain Tager's new ship. He's over there in the corner.
Was, you mean? He's just left.
Oh, well, you know, he said to come back to his table.
That's Tager all over. Never could rely on him. Well, don't let it worry you, shipmate. You're better off without a berth under him.
Well, thanks for the drink. I'll be seeing you.
Yeah. So long, shipmate.
Assignments unlimited.
Chief, it's Cannon.
Oh, yes, Cannon. What happened?
Nothing. Not a thing. Are you sure you told Bottomley?
Of course I'm sure.
Well, I handed over the parcel to Johnston. He just took it, and I had a drink with him, and I got him to sign a receipt. Still nothing. I waited outside, and he's just driven off in a new car, and nobody followed him. Chief, there just weren't any police there at all.
I can't understand it, Cannon.
Neither can I. Listen, Chief, I'm going to 84 Pell Street again. I've got an idea that Captain Tager knows more about this than a little.
If Bottomley gets in touch with you, tell him where I am, okay?
Check. Tread softly, Cannon.
Yeah, sure, Chief, like a cat. And my claws are bared.
Oh, this is it. Captain M. Tager. Okay, Captain, this is where you sing.
Yes?
Hi, Jeannie. Remember me, Cannon. I owe you a hat.
Oh, yes.
Do you mind if I come in?
Suppose not.
Thanks.
Hello, shipmate.
Johnston.
Come in, shipmate. Come right inside.
Better do as he says, Cannon. It's not the first time he's used a gun and meant it.
Meaning what?
That you shot Seaman Ridley when you found out about your filthy racket.
You talk too much. Fraser shot him anyway, I didn't.
Tager's not the only one who talks too much. All right, buddy, where's the snow?
The what?
You heard. The cocaine in that parcel that you swapped for flour.
No, mister, I didn't swap anything.
That parcel was full of cocaine when you got it. I was here watching the old dame hand it to you. When you got it, it was the real McCoy. What happened to it?
Drop dead.
The girl first, Charlie. Use a knife. It's quieter.
What are you going to do to my daughter?
Mess her up, son. The face, Charlie.
You better tell him where it is, Tager. He means business.
What the? Call it, Charlie. You two crazy. You're all under arrest. The cops.
That's right. A nice reception committee. We've heard enough to send you to the gallows and your colleague with you.
Cannon sat down on a sofa in 84 Pell Street and scratched his head as the murder squad hustled Fraser and Johnston away. Bottomley, now all smiles, began to explain.
You see, Cannon, Captain Tager knew that Johnston, his mate, and Fraser, his passenger, were trying to smuggle narcotics into the country. It was he who informed us at the yard. But Fraser had made arrangements to have the parcel removed to a safe place. And where safer than your office at 33 Half Moon Street? But Captain Tager couldn't get hold of the parcel before the boarding-house keeper passed it on to you. And I let Johnston discover the switch, reasoning that he'd come here looking for you and the captain. Well, we heard everything.
But how was the switch made?
I did it. I'm sorry, Mr. Cannon. When you chased after my hat, I swapped parcels. Daddy had made one up just like yours, and I thought you wouldn't notice the difference.
Oh, so I got double-crossed.
Triple-crossed, Cannon.
Cannon.
Wake up, lover boy. You've got work to do.
Gail?
Who else?
Well, what is it? What do you want me to do?
Rescue a cat from a tree.
Oh, no, come on. It's only 6 o'clock. The streets aren't even aired. Be serious.
I am serious, and you're the only one available. The lady's name is Mrs. Maud Blanchard, and she'll pick you up in half an hour outside Aubrey's pad.
Aubrey's pad? What's that?
It's a pet name Penny Fairweather and I dreamed up for the officers at 33 Half Moon Street.
It's often been the case that the client, contracting for one of my operators, has not always been what he seems. The call to my office from Mrs. Maud Blanchard was to rescue a kitten from a large elm tree in our Hendon garden. Let me say at the outset that there was nothing mysterious at all about Mrs. Blanchard. In fact, she was a pillar of Hendon society. However, the ramifications of that simple cat rescue operation were to echo like thunder through the quiet suburb.
On time, like the Big Ben clock.
What are you doing here? I thought you said on the telephone that I was the only one available.
At the time you were. There was a change of plan.
Great. Okay, so you can rescue the cat.
Wrong, Cannon. Mrs. Maud Blanchard, the cat's owner, Says it's too dangerous for a woman to handle. Pussy's perched on the nethermost branch.
Well, the lady's obviously never heard of Gail Hamilton. Oh, by the way, where is she?
Mrs. Blanchard? Oh, she's gone in search of a tranquilizer. I'm to drive you to her house in Hendon, in your car, though the chief has taken the office car to Dover.
You drive my car? Now, that's real danger. I'll be the pilot if you don't mind. Come on, hop in. No dice, Gail. Take a look up there. See where the kitten's gotten itself? That branch won't hold my weight.
Shall I try?
Well, you might look like a bird of paradise, honey, but weight-wise the resemblance ends there.
Thanks.
No, we got to devise a new plan. Now, you see that branch below the cat, the one that hangs over the neighbor's wall?
Uh-huh.
I want you to climb out along that limb and get ready to catch the kitten. I'll go up above you and cut through the branch it's perched on. That way it'll fall right in your lap.
All right. Have you got a knife?
Mm-hmm. And whatever you do, don't let the critter fall into the next-door neighbor's yard. There's a real mean-looking dog prowling around in there. Okay, let's try, Zoe.
Right.
Go on up. Hey, take it easy. Mind my fingers. Oh, why have you stopped?
Shh. The neighbors are coming over this way.
So?
Well, we haven't got Mrs. Blanchard to explain if they see us. We'll look a proper couple of Charlies if the neighbors see us up in this tree.
Well, they can see the cat, too.
A grown man and woman trying to rescue one small kitten. Canon, I'd be embarrassed.
Okay, so we lie low. It's on your head if that kitten falls into the jaws of Fido next door.
Shh. They're coming right up to the wall.
Okay.
I've given a great deal of thought, Drobviz, to where we could put the box. I finally decided on a place by the wall here. Not only is it out of the way, but the Blanchard's elm tree next door, see, hangs right over it.
Is that important, Enid?
I think so. The place is permanent shade, and the ground is always soggy. Dig your heel in the soil, you can feel for yourself.
Yes, you're right.
Hardly the part of the garden to which you bring a young lady in stiletto heels. That'll guarantee its anonymity, until the treasure hunt is officially announced.
How many people are you expecting at the party?
Oh, about 50.
Are they all from the upper middle class?
Really, Drobviz, the way you categorize people.
I was taught that the English upper middle class were the epitome of honesty and good behavior.
Then it's time you dismissed your instructor. Once they know that a treasure hunt is to be organized and that the prize is a case of champagne, they'll be all over the grounds to try and find the treasure with a hearty disregard for the rules.
You amaze me.
Do I? Then I'm flattered, Drobviz. Now, it's of paramount importance that young Kenneth Tracy finds the treasure. I'll explain how we go about that later. Right now, I want you to get a spade from the gardener's shed and cut out a square of turf under this tree here. Dig a hole, put the box in it, and then replace the turf exactly as you found it.
Yes, I'll do that, Enid. Is the box watertight?
Of course. I'd hardly entrust £10 million to a cardboard carton, would I?
I shall see that you get full credit for your ingenuity.
You can have the credit, Drobviz. I'll stick with the cash and the sweet life. Well, come on. We've not got a great deal of time left before the party, and I have 101 things to do.
Did you catch all that?
Every word.
Well, what do you think?
That there's going to be one swell party here tonight.
Well, the party game yet, and the jackpot's £10 million.
That must have been just a figure of speech.
Well, that's some figure.
Well, it's got nothing to do with us.
I'm not too sure. Although that Drobviz guy speaks perfect English, he's a foreigner. And why should the regal-looking dame cook the treasure hunt for the sake of a case of champagne?
It's none of our business, Canon.
Yeah, well, I'd sure like to be at that party tonight.
There you go again. Your mother must have reared you on Pinocchio.
50 guests. Well, that's an awful lot of people under fairy lights. They wouldn't even notice another two. Say, how's your wardrobe on party dresses?
Are you suggesting that we gate crash this party tonight?
Well, they won't give us an official invitation, that's for sure.
But why do you want to go, Canon?
I want to get a look inside that box that friend Drobviz is shortly going to bury. What else?
Wouldn't it be easier to satisfy your curiosity by simply waiting until Drobviz has hidden the box and then shinnying over the wall to take a look when he's gone?
You forget Fido, the bull mastiff. He knows we're up in this tree, and from the look on his slobbering mug, he's wishing we'd fall out of it.
Great bells and buckets of blood.
And what's with you?
The cat we came to rescue.
Oh, I don't see it anymore.
Well, I do.
Where is it?
Don't look up, look down. It's over by the kitchen door, lapping at a saucer of milk.
Did you get a look at the front gate, girl?
Yes, there's a man on duty in green livery. He's checking all the invitations. So that lets us out. How do we get into Mrs. Blanchard's garden? Won't her door be locked too?
You bet. She wouldn't have her cats stray, but I got a key. I won't use it again after tonight, I promise. I'll drop it where the gardener can't fail to see it. He'll pick it up and think he just dropped it by accident. I checked whether the front gate was bolted, and it wasn't, so let's get inside. Now, come on. Be nice and quiet, because tranquilizers are not available to Mrs. Blanchard's cats. Oh, and take it easy up that elm tree. If you rip something, you might have a hard time explaining in the ladies' retiring room. But come on, up quick and over. Come on. Easy. Made it.
Shall we look for the box now?
No, let's mingle with the motley throng. I want to make sure the old dame and Drobvis are nowhere near this end of the garden.
Pray silence for your hostess, Mrs. Enid Blythe Shearer.
Thank you, Kenneth. Darlings, I just wanted to welcome you formally to the party. I think you all know each other. Oh, except perhaps a very dear friend of mine from Oxford, Mark Drobvis.
Hello there.
Hello, nice to meet you.
After the buffet supper, we're to have a treasure hunt, and the prize will be a case of champagne. And no cheating. You'll each be given the first clue, and then you have to follow the clues you'll find. They will finally lead you to a buried box. Instructions are on the lid, and the first one to fulfill these instructions will be the winner. Now, I want you all to have a simply marvelous time. Come, Kenneth, you can get me a glass of punch.
Yes, of course.
Gail, come on, move over here out of sight. Make like we're shy young lovers.
Oh.
You heard what the lady said. They all know each other.
Except for Drobvis.
And you don't look a bit like Drobvis. Here, hang on to this glass.
Where did you get that?
I brought 2 of them with me. And a half bottle of champagne. Just hold it a minute.
Yeah.
And don't drink it too fast. It's only a prop.
A prop is what I need right now.
There we are.
What about the bottle?
Well, I'll toss it over into Mrs. Blanchard's garden. Ouch. Mrs. Blanchard's going to be real upset when she finds one of her cats has hit the bottle. Okay, I'll look for the turf where you hid that box. You keep a lookout, huh?
Right.
Okay, I got it. Now give me that hand trowel I told you to put in your bag.
Here.
Thanks.
Have you got it?
Yeah, just hang on a second. Yeah, it's a middle box, a foot square.
So Mrs. Blythe Shearer was only playing the fool when she said it contained 10 million pounds. You couldn't get 1,000 into that thing.
Well, it doesn't have to be banknotes, does it?
That box is awfully small for the crown jewels.
Oh, there's some instructions on the lid. Let me see. It says, take this treasure chest to the warehouse in Merchant's Lane, Stepney. Say to the watchman, I am the bearer of good tidings. He will take the box, and after you've left, telephone here to confirm that you've completed the task.
The things the idle rich cook up.
Well, this treasure hunt's cooked up for a guy called Kenneth Tracy, remember?
But what's inside the box?
I don't know, it's locked.
Well, that's never bothered you before.
Doesn't now. Just a minute.
Well, what's inside?
2 flat pieces of metal.
So it is just a gag after all. I told you all that talk of 10 million pounds was baloney.
Well, you put these 2 things in your bag.
But why?
Just do as I say. I'm going to lock this box again and put it right back where we found it, minus the contents.
What on earth's the point of keeping 2 worthless flat pieces of metal?
Those worthless flat pieces of metal are engraving plates. Engraving plates for turning out unlimited quantities of counterfeit banknotes.
Being unaware of the dangers that were to beset Cannon on his self-appointed mission, I confess that my sentiments towards him leaned in this direction. Had I known what Drobvis really represented, I would have been apprehensive, to say the least.
Merchant's Lane. This is it. Now, what did the instructions say? The warehouse. Well, I hope there's not more than one.
Oh, that must be it. I hope it's right, or the watchman will think I'm loony. Good evening. Are you the watchman?
Yeah.
Oh, quite the conversationalist, aren't we? I have a box and a message. Make sense to you?
That's right.
All right, here it is. Oh, and the message. I am the bearer of good tidings.
Righto.
There. Oh, don't forget to telephone Mrs. Blythe Shearer. Good night.
Hello? Oh, it's you. So he arrived all right. Good. The password? Fine. What did you say? Repeat that. But that's not possible. If this is any of your doing... Oh, I see. Very well. I'll inform Drobviz. Good night. Drobviz? Drobviz?
Hello, Mrs. Blythe Shearer. All present and correct. I delivered the tin box and the man said he'd phoned.
Get out of my way.
Why, Mrs. Blythe Shearer, is something wrong?
Something's disastrous. Oh, Drobviz.
Did I hear you calling me, Enid?
Yes, there's been an accident.
Well, I can see by the look on your face.
We'd better go into the study.
Is there something I can do, Mrs. Blythe Shearer?
Yes, drop dead. In here, Drobviz.
Very well. What is it?
He delivered the box. It was empty.
What did you say?
The box was empty. Carl used his duplicate key after that ass Kenneth Tracy had left, and the box was empty.
But I put the plates in there myself.
I know you did, but someone took them out again.
But who? Nobody went near that elm tree. And even if they did, how could they have known a box was buried there? Or for that matter, how could they have opened it?
Oh, it was a simple two-lever lock. Any skeleton key could have opened it.
Now let me think. The place we decided upon, under that elm tree, was known only to you and me. I put the plates into the box in this study, and we walked together to the tree where I buried the box under the new-cut turf. There was nobody else in the house at the time. Even the gardener had been sent off.
So one of three people could have opened that box. You, me, or Kenneth Tracy.
You can exclude us. I have a duty to perform, and the plates would be worthless to you. It's what they produce that holds your interest.
Don't make me out too mercenary.
Don't let's kid ourselves, Mrs. Blythe Shearer. Get Tracy. I want him in here. Go now.
As you wish. Kenneth? Kenneth?
Oh, it's you.
Oh, I lost my temper, didn't I, darling? So sorry.
All right. But what was it all about?
Well, I received some disturbing news on the telephone.
About the box? Did I deliver it to the wrong address?
No, dear boy, of course not. You went to the right place. Dear friends, the winner of the treasure hunt is Kenneth Tracy. And so I'm going to ask him to come into the study and collect his prize, a case of the finest champagne. Come, Kenneth. And you can pour me a glass of champagne to show that you've forgiven me.
A pleasure, Mrs. Blythe Shearer.
This way.
I've never known such an easy treasure hunt in my life. I only had 3 clues to follow, and there I was under the elm tree. It was a piece of cake.
Why did you open the tin box? That wasn't in the instructions.
But I didn't open it.
You lie.
Now look here, old boy.
What did you do with the contents of the box?
I didn't touch it. It was locked. Mrs. Blythe Shearer, please, what's this all about?
Talk.
You'd better do as he says, Kenneth.
Well, what do you want to know?
You opened the box.
Oh, I didn't. I didn't. I swear I didn't. Leave me alone, please. Tell him to leave me alone.
He won't stop until you tell him, Kenneth.
Who's that? Tell them to go away. You, come here. And if you so much as whimper, I'll wring your neck.
Yes, what is it? Oh,
What was it, Enid?
A note from my neighbour, Mrs. Blanchard.
Throw it away.
I'd better not, Drobviz. She expects an immediate reply. If she doesn't get one, she'll become suspicious. I've always been on the most formal and correct terms with her.
Correct? Well, then read it quickly. There's little time, and I must find out what this pipsqueak did with the plates. Oh, hurry up, woman.
Drobvis, I think you ought to hear what she has to say.
I have no time for foolish, neighbourly memoranda.
It's more than that. We must get rid of Kenneth. Send him back to the party.
So that he can tell everyone that I beat him up. Are you quite mad?
I must read this to you in private.
Right. You, come here.
What are you going to do?
You're a ruthless brute, aren't you?
Sometimes I have to be. Very well. What does the note say?
Dear Mrs. Blythe Shearer, I have a small complaint. One of your guests threw an empty champagne bottle over my wall, and it landed on my new kitten. The poor creature was so frightened that it ran to the top of the elm tree and refuses to come down. Listen. Only this morning I paid a firm in the West End 10 guineas to rescue the kitten from the top of the elm tree, and I feel a little distressed that the effort was all to no avail. Sincerely, Maud Blanchard.
Have you taken leave of your senses, Enid? What do I care about a kitten trapped in a tree?
The elm tree, Drobvis, the elm tree. Don't you see? When we buried that box this morning, there was someone up in the elm tree. He must have seen and heard everything.
Great Scott.
Now we know where the plates disappeared to. I was sure that spineless ass Tracy had nothing to do with it.
Well, what can we do now?
We must get rid of Tracy. For a while, anyway. Oh, pour a bottle of champagne over him, and I'll tell everyone he's had too much to drink, and that you're going to take him home. Put him in a car and take him to the warehouse. Carl can look after him there.
And the place?
I'll ring this firm in the West End. I'll get the address from Mrs. Blanchard.
You'll ask them to come out again to rescue the cat?
I'll ask for the same man. They won't know my voice, and Mrs. Blanchard's voice on the telephone can't be very much different from mine. She'd quite naturally ask for the same man, since he completed the job satisfactorily last time. Oh, hello. Yes, Mrs. Blythe Shearer here. I'm fine, thank you. Look, I'm most terribly sorry about that bottle incident. Yes, they do get a little rowdy. What's the name of that firm in the West End? I would like to bear the costs of bringing the man out again. Well, yes, I thought I'd get onto them right away. We can't have a poor kitten stranded in a tree, can we? The thought is too terrible. It might easily fall. Yes, Mrs. Blanchard. Those of us with a gentle nature abhor these things. Oh, just a moment. I'll jot it down. Right. 33 Half Moon Street.
Yeah?
Cannon?
Yeah. You still in that phone booth over from Mrs. Blythe's house?
Yes.
Look, did you ring the office and give them your number?
Of course I did. That's why I'm ringing your phone box. Has anything happened there at the warehouse?
Silent as a tomb. Why did you phone?
Penny Fairweather's just rung up to say that Mrs. Blanchard's kitten has run up the tree again, and could we come at once to rescue it?
Mm-hmm. And what did Penny say?
She said all right. But here's the rub. Mrs. Blanchard said she especially wanted the same man who rescued the kitten this morning. She said she'd taken a fancy to him.
Well, Mrs. Blanchard had ever set eyes on me. That's what I expected her said, but she never even saw me.
Yeah. Fishy, isn't it?
Hmm.
Cannon.
What was it now?
There's someone coming through the Blythe Shearer's gate. It's Drobvis.
Uh-huh.
He's supporting someone. Looks as though he's drunk.
Well, take a good look. Who is it?
It's Kenneth Tracy, the young man who took the box to the warehouse.
Are you sure?
I saw him arrive at the warehouse, didn't I?
Yeah. Well, then my guess is that Drivers will bring him here. Look, leave that phone booth and come on over here right away.
To the warehouse?
To this phone booth in Merchant's Lane. Ring Penny Fairweather and tell her what you're doing, and tell her to stand by that office phone.
Okay.
Now make it quick and make it quiet. And Gail,
Yeah?
keep your hands free because you might need to use them.
I had the most difficult time getting away, Drobvis. What on earth do you want with me at the warehouse at this time of night? Who are you?
The name's Cannon, ma'am. I believe you wanted me on a cat rescue job. No, don't try anything. All your friends are here. There's Carl, Tracy, Dravlis, and the place.
Don't touch me. You're a man. You wouldn't hit a woman. That's right. He wouldn't hit a woman. Dravlis!
While Dravlis was phoning you, he had my knife at his back. Quite a setup you had organized, Mrs. Blythe Shearer. I congratulate you. On the currency racket, that is. But for that stinking game you tried to play tonight, I hope you go up the river for a long, long time.
There was a strange ending to the story, and I was anxious to hear from Cannon's own lips exactly what had transpired. He sat as usual in my office, arms akimbo, a cigarette dangling from the corner of his unsmiling mouth.
You see, Dravlis was a communist agent, and the plates were made behind the Iron Curtain. When they started rolling, the country would have been flooded with phony money. It's an old trick with the communists to disrupt a country's financial structure. But what got my goat was the method they used to recruit suckers into their net. Young Kenneth Tracy was a cinch. Once he delivered the plates, they would then have blackmailed him into working for them. Enid Blythe Shearer would have had little trouble in proving that he was an accessory to their crimes. And they got Enid into their net by the same method. Oh, and by the way, Chief, we won't have to go to old Mrs. Blanchard's house again on a cat rescue because I gave her the phone number of the local fire brigade.
Standard of elegance, sir. I offer this as an explanation, since most gentlemen visitors to London are confused at the great price variations to be found in our city.
Now, look, you can save the sales talk, buddy. I've lived here since the war.
Really? I would have thought you too young, sir.
The Korean War. And I don't like this top coat. Like I said, I want something special, and I don't mind paying for it.
I wonder. I have an overcoat here that was ordered by an Indian gentleman, but was never collected.
You trying to sell me a second-hand sari?
Wait till you see it, sir. Fur-trimmed, silk-lined, hand-woven mohair. Yeah. What do you think of that?
Boy, that sure is some top coat. Will it fit?
Let's try, shall we? Yeah. There. Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
For once, I'm in perfect agreement. Hand-woven mohair, did you say?
That's right, sir. Imported from the Hindu Kush.
Right, wrap it up and send it round. You've got yourself a sale.
To whom shall I address it, sir?
The name's Cannon, the address 33 Half Moon Street.
Cannon's reputation in the area of Greater London was known to many people. Indeed, his efficient completion of many tasks meant that his prowess at fulfilling an assignment had spread by word of mouth far and wide. I wasn't surprised, therefore, when a gentleman rang Miss Fairweather and requested the services of Cannon personally. It was the circumstances underlying the assignment that puzzled me. They puzzled Cannon, too, when Miss Fairweather relayed them to him.
Working as the switch witch in this crazy dump, I've heard of some screwy assignments, Cannon, but this one takes the cake. You ought to be paid for doing nothing.
Oh, like a remittance man.
Almost. Ever heard of the Silver Shoe nightclub?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was there last night. What about it?
I've had a call from the proprietor, certain Johnny Devereux. Know him?
No, but what do I have to do nothing to get paid?
Well, this man, Johnny Devereux, said that you're to wrap up nice and warm and be at the Silver Shoe at 11 o'clock tonight. You're to wear evening dress, and a table has been reserved for you. Food and drink is on the house, and if you wish, you may bring a companion. He's sending the chief a check in advance.
Well, what do I do, like to chuck her out?
You don't have to do a thing. I asked Mr. Devereux what you were expected to do, and he just said sit around and look decorative.
Decorative, huh? And I'm allowed a companion.
And that's what he said.
Wonder who I should ask. Hey, what are you doing with that paperweight?
Helping you make up your mind who to
Well,
ask.
it's customary to use a shotgun, Miss Fairweather. Look, would you do me the honor of accompanying me to the Silver Shoe nightclub this evening?
I should be delighted, Mr. Cannon.
Oh, the glad rags.
I sent my evening dress to the cleaners immediately after the phone call.
Say, you got a lot of confidence in that paperweight. How's the time?
4:30. I know what. Let's go to your place via the dry cleaners, and we can change and take in a flick before reporting for duty at the club.
Suits me. What's the weather like?
Still drizzling. If it doesn't stop raining soon, you'll have to build an ark.
Real nightclub weather. Mr. Johnny Devereaux couldn't have picked it better. Are you sure you want to come?
A free night out in the Silver Shoe? Are you kidding?
Look, what I mean is, well, he wouldn't pay good money plus a free night unless there were strings attached. Maybe he expects trouble or something.
I feel quite safe with you, Cannon.
Okay, but if somebody treats you to a bottle of champagne without removing the cork, don't say I didn't warn you.
You can't put me off. I happen to know that the Silver Shoe is a highly respectable establishment.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's go.
Aren't you going to wear your new overcoat?
In this weather? Not a chance. I paid 50 guineas for that. It's worth twice as much. I'll leave it in the office and take a raincoat.
That old thing. Mr. Devereaux is expecting you to look elegant.
Well, so I shall underneath. Top coats get left in the foyer in the cloakroom. Mr. Devereaux will see me resplendent in my best tuxedo.
And I shall grace his presence with my newly laundered gown.
Yeah. You know, Penny, there's something screwy about this job. I just got a funny feeling that Mr. Johnny Devereaux is no philanthropist. In fact, if he's a nightclub owner, then he's probably a real tough cookie. And from what I know of guys of that caliber, they don't go around dishing out free handouts unless they have a very, very good reason.
Having a good time, you two?
Wonderful, Mr. Devereaux, thank you.
Just great. Say, when do we start work? Work? Well, it's midnight, and all we've done so far is eat your food and drink your drink.
Well, that's all you're supposed to do for the moment, Mr. Cannon. Just order anything you want.
Well, I can think of a harder way of earning a buck.
Excuse me, an important guest has just arrived. Perhaps you can begin to earn your money now, Mr. Cannon. If he's alone, I'll send him over to your table. He's a foreigner, you see.
So, you have your answer, Cannon. Host and hostess to lonely foreign visitors.
Foreign, yeah. From his turbaned head to his bejeweled fingers. Lonely? I doubt it.
Is that him in the foyer?
Yeah, earnest conversation with the proprietor. But I guess he's a Pakistani or a Persian. And they don't get lonely, not with 4 wives. Hey, watch it, they're coming over here now.
For the first time tonight, I'm beginning to feel uncomfortable.
Now, may I present a personal friend and habitué of the club, Kabul Mashad, Mr. Cannon, and Miss Fairweather. How do you do?
How do you do?
Kabul is at a loose end tonight.
Oh, then, won't you join us?
Thank you. If you excuse me, the persistent duties of a nightclub owner, you know. Do give me a shout if there's anything you want.
You're sure I'm not intruding?
Oh, on the contrary. A glass of champagne?
Oh, no, my country forbids it.
Oh, bad luck.
But since I'm not in my country...
When in Rome?
Yes, I know the expression. Well, thank you again. Have you been in England long, Mr. Cannon?
A while. How about you?
Oh, my duties bring me here frequently. I'm fond of the place, but it gets lonely at times. I often come here. I don't remember seeing you before.
Well, to be frank, it's a bit out of my price range, but as a matter of fact, I was here last night.
Oh, wait a minute. You know, I thought I've seen you before. Am I right in saying that you wore a coat of mohair last night?
Well, I sure did. Now, fancy you noticing that.
Oh, it was a magnificent coat, fur trimmed from the Hindu Kush. There are few such coats in existence. You were lucky to have obtained such a fine garment.
Savile Row. Guy ordered it and never came back. I got it half price.
You are twice lucky. I should like to examine it at close quarters. Did you bring it tonight?
No. I didn't want to wear it in this rain.
Oh.
See, I told you to bring the coat.
Oh, it doesn't matter. And you are right not to bring it out in the rain. Such a fine garment deserves the best of treatment. Now, if you will excuse me...
You going so soon?
Oh, I have a hot day tomorrow. Tonight I will enjoy a good sleep. Good night.
So long.
Good night. Well, what do you make of that?
Well, he's from the East, but he's no potentate.
I've heard that they consider it to be polite to make rude noises after meals.
Well, for a lonely guy, he sure didn't enjoy our company very long, did he? You know something, I'm getting bored with this joint. I wasn't paid to stay here, I'd blow.
Well, how's everything? Had a pleasant evening?
Yep.
It's been marvelous, Mr. Devereux. How much longer do we have to stay?
Well, you can go any time you want. There have been no more customers tonight. I suppose I can ring your office if I need you again.
Of course. Grosvenor 5995.
Good, I'll remember. Good night.
You know, I feel like I was a chess piece.
So do I. As though every move was planned in advance. Let's go home, Canon.
Sure. Nightcap at my place?
I can think of nothing better.
And let's get the blazes out of here.
It's cold. What are you waiting for? Why don't you unlock the door?
Well, somebody's been here while we were away.
Huh?
Take a look at the lock. See how it's scratched?
Yeah.
Well, that's a skeleton key and handled by a clumsy knave. Now, you stand to the side there by the wall.
What are you going to do?
Well, whoever called might still be here. I'll just make quite sure before you come in. Huh?
Is it all right, Canon?
Sure. Come on in. Drinks on the sideboard. Make mine on the rocks.
Right.
I'll check the bedroom. Well, he was no super snooper. He's left his trademark all over the apartment. Thanks.
Is anything missing?
Not that I can see right away. Well, take a look on the Welsh dresser. A thief could hardly miss all that small change, and nothing's missing from the bedroom that I can see. The whole joint's been turned upside down and everything put back roughly the way it was. If an expert had given my place the once over, I would never have known anybody had been here.
But who would want to search your apartment?
That is the $64 question. Who and why?
Johnny Devereux?
Well, he knew that I was out of the way, all right. In fact, he had me under his eye the whole night long, but why? I got nothing of value. I got nothing to hide. The first time I ever went to his club was last night, and I didn't meet him personally then. In fact, the first time I ever set eyes on the guy was when I went to work for him tonight.
Yeah, it's puzzling.
It's crazy.
Will you ring the police?
And tell them what? That my apartment was broken into and nothing was stolen? Now, who can that be at this time of night?
I'll get it. Hello? Yes, it's Cannon's flat. Oh, hello, Chief. What am I doing here? We just finished work, the Silver Shoe Club. I'm having a nightcap with Cannon. Yes, of course. Do you want to speak to him? Oh, I see. No, I didn't, Chief. I gave him the Grosvenor 5995 number. Yes, I'll tell him. Good night, Chief.
And what did he want?
A strong glass of bicarb, judging by his temper. Mr. Johnny Devereux rang him up at home a moment ago.
Well, how did you know the chief's number?
Your guess is as good as mine.
And Devereux?
You're to report to the Silver Shoe again. Same procedure as tonight.
Well, why did he ring tonight? I mean, why couldn't he wait until the morning?
He wanted to make sure that it was you the chief sent along. He specifically said, you, Cannon.
Some things in life are obvious and easy. If you have a business providing a good service or selling a product, you need to let people know. But how do you do that? Easy. Just tell them here on SpringbokRadio.com. Internet radio is about talking to people in their own homes. Your message becomes part of the sound they've chosen to listen to. To find out more about advertising on SpringbokRadio.com, contact Dave Dupree on Johannesburg 011 678 5176. Or for outside South Africa, 2711 678 5176. Or email Dave at SpringbokRadio.com.
And so, once again, Cannon repaired to the Silver Shoe nightclub, attired in his magnificent fur-trimmed overcoat. As he said to Miss Fairweather, he was beginning to feel at home in the place.
Looks like home from home, Penny. Say, I like your frock.
And I like your overcoat. Small wonder that Kabul man admired it. I just checked my cake with a girl.
Good.
You men hang your own things up, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. Like I said, this joint's becoming home from home.
I won't be a moment, Cannon.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Cannon, isn't it?
Oh, hi there, Kabul Mashad.
You have a good memory.
Yeah, it was only last night that we met, and you're not the sort of person one forgets easily, even though the acquaintance was brief.
Do I take that as a compliment?
Sure. Will you join us again this evening?
Oh, I shall be delighted. I see you brought along that superb coat again. Mohair from the Hindu Kush. A very fine piece of work.
Well, here I am. Oh, hello, Mr. Kabul Mashad.
Hello again, gentle lady.
So you've all met up again. Well, that's great. Shall I put you at the same table? How are you, Kabul? Everything going well with you?
Oh, everything is perfect.
I'm glad to hear it. This way. I put you away from the band. My throat singer's got a throat tonight. The fill-in sings like a corncrake with laryngitis. Oh, there. How's this? I'll be around if you need me, all right?
Oh, order some champagne. I will pay for it. I must make one very quick telephone call. You will excuse me?
Yeah, sure thing.
I shall be back a minute. That's all, a minute.
Last night it was a chess game. Tonight it's a jack-in-the-box. Why does everyone seem so excited?
You see the look he gave me when I came in. Oh, shucks.
What's up?
I forgot to get a pack of cigarettes.
Well, the girl will sell them. Shall I call her?
No, she won't have my brand. Look, do you mind holding the fort while I slip out and buy a pack? There's a cafe across the road from here, sells my make.
Better that I go for you. You're employed to work here, remember. I'm just trading along for kicks.
Well, it's freezing out there, and it'll take an age for the check girl to get you a wrap.
Then I'll borrow your magnificent fur-trimmed overcoat. I can wrap it round me if the cafe's only across the road. Where did you hang it?
Third row from the front. Anyway, you can't mistake it.
True enough. I'll only be a moment.
Surely you're not leaving already, Mr. Cannon?
No. She's just running out to get me some cigarettes. They don't stock my brand here. Pull up a chair. You can tell me something about... where is it you come from?
From Persia, the land of caviar. The champagne. I feel in a festive mood this evening here. Well, here's to a successful evening, Mr. Cannon.
There's mud in your eye, Kabul. Persia, you said?
Oh, an unhappy country, I fear. But one with a long history that will see it through these troubled times.
What line of business are you in?
Oh, I'm an importer. Fine silks, carpets, and woven cloth. My country has a famous history in the manufacture of these things.
Oh, so that's why you were so interested in my top coat. I did wonder.
Oh, fabrics have always held a special fascination for me. Did you know that many of your English names for cloth originated in Persia? You see that woman on the dance floor there? Look, there. She wears a pattern you call seersaka. Persian originally, for milk and sugar. White milk, brown sugar. Interesting, isn't it?
How about that, yeah.
There you are, Cannon. 20 of the best. Just popped out to get him some cigarettes. He's got a mind like a sieve.
Thanks, Penny.
It wasn't where you said it was, by the way. You put it in the back row.
I did.
A call for you, Kabul. They say it's urgent.
Oh, forgive me. We're having a conversation on fine Persian garments. Perhaps we can continue some other time. I'll take the call in the office.
Yes, fine. Well, friends, that winds it up, I guess.
You mean we can go?
That's right. By the way, tell me something. Where do you keep that beautiful overcoat you brought tonight?
In the wardrobe. Why?
I just wondered. You didn't wear it last night, did you?
No. On account of the rain, I left it in the office.
In the office? I see. Well, thanks for coming. I'll send the check for you tonight along to your office in the morning. Good night, Miss Fairweather.
Night. Cannon, that Kabul man isn't using the phone at all. He's watching us again from behind the draperies.
That's all. Well, last time I said a cat can look at a king. I'm going to change that slightly. Let's make it curiosity killed the cat. Come on, let's get out of here. You got your wrap?
It won't be a minute. I saw Mr. Devereux talking to the check girl. I suspect she'll have it ready.
They seem in an awful hurry to get us out of here. So where did you leave my coat?
First peg. You can't miss it.
Are you going so early, Mr. Cannon?
Yep, I don't want to be too late. Had an attempted burglary in my apartment last night.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear it. Anything missing?
No. The intruder was looking for something. I wish I knew what it was.
It all sounds very mysterious.
Yeah, but there's probably quite a logical explanation.
I'm ready, Cannon. Shall we go?
Sure thing.
Good night again, Mr. Kabul Mashard.
Good night to you both.
It's bitter. Careful driving, Cannon. The road's one sheet of ice.
Oh, watch it. You hop in, huh?
Where to, Cannon?
I want to call into my apartment. There's something here I don't fit. You know, Penny, I got a strange feeling that the guy who rifled my apartment last night was Johnny Devereaux.
Why would he do that?
Something I got he wants. Who knows? My mohair top coat for a start.
Johnny Devereaux could buy a dozen such coats if he wanted to.
Yeah, unless there's something special about this one. He asked me where I kept it. He seemed relieved when I told him it was in the office last night. It was almost as though he thought I was conspiring against him.
What possible conspiracy could there be between you and Johnny Devereaux?
Yeah, what? And yet there's definitely something. And that Persian guy, Kabul, he's mixed up in it.
Well, I, for one, can't see them stealing your coat. Why would they want to do that? When I went out for your cigarettes, it was hanging quite happily in the back row of coats. If they'd wanted it, they'd have taken it then.
Not the back row, the third row. I told you where I put it.
I knew where it was when I borrowed it to take out your cigarettes.
Look, I tell you, I left it in the third row from the front. I know where I put it.
Look, don't let's spoil our evening by having a row. Who cares where you put your coat?
I care.
Now you're getting truculent for nothing.
It's not for nothing. There's something mighty queer going on around here, and I want to find out what it is. Look, Penny, I tell you for the last time that I put that coat in the third row.
Then somebody moved it.
But how come a mohair coat's so important?
Cannon, there's a car following us.
Yeah, so I noticed. Can you see any of the occupants?
No.
Well, there's a pair of night glasses in the glove box. Use them.
Hmm.
There. Do you see anything now?
The driver is Johnny Devereaux.
Surprise, surprise.
The other side of the screen is misted up. Wait a minute. He's wiping it with his glove. It's Kabul.
So they're on our tail, and it is the coat they're after.
Yeah.
You didn't know it, Penny, but you re-rang the changes on that coat in the cloakroom.
I don't understand.
You don't have to. We gotta shake off the gorillas first.
Careful, Cannon. The road's frozen.
Well, it's as bad for them as it is for me. You hold on to your seat, huh?
He's still there, sticking like glue. Cannon, look out! Look out! There's a truck coming out from up that turning.
Look! Won't hold. Get down, kid. We're sliding sideways. Get on the dashboard. Penny? You all right?
Oh, I think so, Can. Gee, how's the car? Is it a write-off?
Well, it was insured.
Where are the others?
Devereaux and Kabul, I don't know. Uh-oh. Looks like I spoke too soon.
Cannon, look at Kabul. He's wearing an overcoat exactly like yours.
No. Keep down, honey. There's going to be trouble.
If he's dead or badly injured, grab the coat and let's get out of here. This tailor's masterpiece has given me enough trouble to last me a lifetime.
And be careful of him, Johnny. He's a dangerous customer.
Yes, so am I. So, you're all in one piece, Cannon. All right, come on, get out.
Say, what's the big idea, Devereaux?
I never could stand this Oriental intrigue. I said from the start that we should simply move in and take what we wanted.
What you want to be my mohair top coat?
You guessed right first time, yes.
But why? I just don't get it.
You don't have to. Come over quickly now. Change coats with them.
You having trouble, mate?
Yeah. Can't you see? I mean, these monkeys are hijacking my property.
Beat it.
You talking to me?
You heard me.
Oh, I don't like that. The accident was your fault anyway. I was on the right side of the road.
Well, you can tell that to the cops. Grab the coat, Kabul, and let's get out of here.
No, you don't.
And who's going to stop us?
Me and this bloke here. Get the top one, matey! Yeah.
That's quite a wallop you packed there.
You don't do so bad yourself, mate. What do we do with these beauties?
Well, let's cart them off to the local lockup. Oh, but be very careful of the two mohair overcoats. You don't know it, friend, but you are holding the key to $1 million mystery.
It's true that Cannon never looks for trouble, but it always seems to meet him halfway. Knowing how proud he was of his expensive overcoat, I wondered why he'd sold it. He took great delight in telling me.
It all began, Chief, that first night I went to the Silver Shoe nightclub. And not the time Devereaux engaged my services, but the night before, when I went alone. In fact, it was because of that visit that he employed me to sit and do nothing in the club. You see, that first night when I left, I took the wrong mohair coat. The one owned by Kabul was exactly identical. Devereaux asked me along, thinking I would arrive in my mohair coat, and he could ring the changes while I was sitting at table with Penny Fairweather. But the first night it was raining, and I wore a raincoat. That's why they broke into my flat. That got them no place on account of I'd left the top coat in the office. The second night I did wear it, and they rang the changes on the coats. But Penny gummed up the works by taking the wrong coat when she went out for cigarettes. So they followed the car, and if it hadn't been for the truck driver, we might have been in serious trouble. Devereaux and Kabul were playing for high stakes. The coat I took by accident had a fortune in smuggled gems sewn into the lining. Oh, I sold the coat, by the way, as you gathered. I had a good offer from a Turkish businessman.